Before you do anything else, my child, stop for a moment and listen to me. Do not turn away. Do not brush past this. Do not tell yourself you will come back later when life feels less busy or when your heart feels less heavy. I have something to tell you, and the reason you are here right now is far more important than you realize. You have been moving through your days carrying things that no one else fully sees. You have smiled when you were exhausted. You have answered questions with simple words while entire storms were unfolding inside you. You have tried to stay strong, tried to stay steady, tried to keep going even when part of you felt like it was slowly losing its strength. And because you have become so accustomed to carrying what hurts, you may not even recognize how much weight you have been living under. That is why I am speaking to you now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Now, because there are moments when I allow a message to cross your path, and there are moments when I personally interrupt your direction because I refuse to let you keep walking without hearing what your heart desperately needs. This is one of those moments. You may think you found this message. The truth is, I led you here. Out of all the things you could have been watching, out of all the voices competing for your attention, out of all the distractions surrounding you, your eyes stopped here. Your spirit paused here. Something inside you felt pulled to stay. That was not random. That was not luck. That was not coincidence. I know exactly where you are emotionally. I know the questions you have not spoken aloud. And I know something else. You have been closer to walking away than you realize. Not necessarily from your responsibilities, not necessarily from your routines, but from hope, from peace, from trust, from the expectation that things can still change. Part of your heart has become tired of hoping for what has taken so long. Part of your spirit has become weary from carrying unanswered questions. Part of you has started settling for survival when I created you for so much more than that. That is why I am asking you not to leave this message too soon. Stay through every word. Stay through the places where I touch wounds you have tried to ignore. Because if you leave now, you may miss the very thing I brought you here to hear. You may miss the truth that changes how you see your pain. There is something I need to show you about your life. There is something I need to reveal about what you have been carrying. There is something I need you to understand about the season you are in right now. And once you see it, you will never look at certain parts of your story the same way again. So take a breath. Quiet the noise around you. Set aside the urge to rush ahead. Open your heart completely. Because what comes next is not just another message. It is the reason I stopped you. And if you will stay with me, I am about to tell you something your heart has needed for a very long time. My child, I need you to understand something that is far more important than you realize in this moment. You may think you simply paused for a second, glanced at these words, and found yourself here because of habit, curiosity, or one more passing moment in a day already filled with too much noise. But I need you to know that this moment is not random to me. I did not let your eyes land here by chance. I did not allow your heart to slow down just for nothing. I saw exactly where you were when you arrived at this moment. I saw the thoughts already circling in your mind before you even began to read. I saw the heaviness you have been trying to carry without making it obvious to anyone around you. I saw how you have kept moving, kept functioning, kept doing what needed to be done, even while something inside you has been asking questions you have been too tired to say out loud. And because I saw all of that, I stepped into this moment and I stopped you. I know you have been pushing through more than people realize. I know you have become skilled at looking normal while your spirit has been unsettled. I know you have learned how to keep conversations going while your heart feels far away from peace. I know you have been trying to convince yourself that if you just get through one more day, one more problem, one more wave of pressure, then maybe the quiet inside you will return. But I have watched you long enough to know that this is not something you can keep outrunning. That is why I am speaking now. That is why I interrupted what you were doing. I am not here to overwhelm you. I am not here to shame you. I am not here to demand something harsh from you. I am here because I love you too much to let you drift one more step without hearing my voice clearly. You have been asking for something deeper, even if you did not use those exact words. Somewhere inside you, there has been a longing you could not fully explain. You have wanted clarity. You have wanted relief. You have wanted to know if I still see you in the middle of what has felt confusing, delayed, or emotionally exhausting. You have wanted to know whether the ache in you has meaning or whether you have simply become too worn down to hope the way you used to. And I am telling you now, with all the tenderness of a father who has never once taken his eyes off you, that I saw this moment before you ever reached it. I knew the exact second when your defenses would be lower, when your heart would be soft enough to hear me, when your soul would be tired enough to stop pretending it did not need me this closely. That is why I stopped you here, not because I am far away and finally decided to visit, but because I have been near the whole time and this was the moment you were finally able to notice it. You are not being pulled into something empty right now. You are being drawn into something personal. This is not just another message in front of you. This is me reaching for you in a way that leaves no room for confusion. I want you to feel the weight of that. I want you to let it settle into the places inside you that have felt overlooked. You matter enough for me to interrupt your day. You matter enough for me to meet you in the middle of your distraction. You matter enough for me to step directly into the place where you were about to keep moving without dealing with what has been quietly building inside you. And if your heart feels unsettled as you read this, if something in you feels exposed and comforted at the same time, that is because you are not imagining my presence. I am here. I am speaking because this moment matters. I am holding your attention because what I need to tell you cannot reach you if you keep running past it. So do not rush. Do not treat this like something small. Stay here with me. Let yourself be still enough to recognize that the reason I stopped you is not because you are in trouble with me. It is because you are deeply loved by me, and I have something to place in your heart that you have needed for longer than you know. You have lived through enough by now to know that not every interruption feels gentle at first. Sometimes the moments that change you do not arrive wrapped in comfort. Sometimes they come when you are already stretched thin, already emotionally tired, already trying to hold yourself together in ways no one around you fully understands. That is part of why this moment may feel strange to you. You may feel something in your chest that you cannot easily explain. You may feel resistance and relief at the same time. A part of you may want to keep reading quickly and move on, while another part of you knows there is something here that feels unusually personal. I want you to pay attention to that. I want you to notice the way your spirit responds when truth comes close. Because I am not speaking to the polished version of you that others see. I am speaking to the part of you that has been quietly carrying disappointment, the part of you that has tried to make peace with things that still hurt, the part of you that has been trying to look strong while wondering whether you still have the strength to keep holding everything together. I know what this season has felt like from the inside. I know how many things you have not said. I know how often you have swallowed your emotions because you did not want to burden anyone. I know how many times you told yourself that what you were feeling was not that serious, even while it kept growing heavier. I know the moments when you smiled because it was easier than explaining why your heart felt distant. I know the silent weariness that follows you when the day gets quiet. I know the private disappointments you have not fully processed because life kept demanding the next thing from you before you had time to heal from the last thing. And still, through all of that, I have been with you. I have watched you keep going. I have watched you survive days you thought would break you. I have watched you make it through conversations, obligations, and responsibilities while your inner world felt far more fragile than anyone knew. That is why I am not speaking to you casually. I am speaking with intention. I am drawing near with purpose. I am not trying to oppress you. I am trying to reach you. You have been close to becoming numb in places where I want you alive again. You have been close to accepting emotional distance as normal when I never created you to live that way. You have been close to settling into a version of yourself that functions but does not feel deeply connected, and I will not let that happen without calling you back. This is the kind of moment that can look small from the outside and still become a turning point on the inside. That is why I am asking you not to brush past it. Let this settle deeper than your thoughts. Let it reach the places in you that have been bracing for more disappointment. Let it touch the places that have been waiting for someone to understand what you could not explain. I do understand. I always have. And what I want you to know before we go any further is this: the fact that I stopped you means I am not done with you. The fact that I interrupted you means I am not overlooking you. The fact that I am speaking this directly means there is still something ahead of you worth preparing your heart for. I would not call you close like this just to leave you empty. I would not ask for your attention just to stir your emotions and walk away. I am here because there is something in you I am about to steady. There is something in you I am about to uncover. There is something in you that has been buried beneath pressure, fatigue, regret, and distraction, and I am not willing to let it stay hidden. So stay with me, my child. Stay longer than you normally would. Stay past the impulse to move on. Stay beyond the part of you that wants quick comfort and then escape. Because what I am beginning here is not a passing feeling. It is the beginning of me drawing you back into a place of honesty, closeness, and peace that your heart has needed more than you have admitted. And before anything else changes, I needed you to know this first. I stopped you because I saw you. I know exactly what you have been carrying, and I refuse to let this moment pass without reminding you that I am still here, still near, and still speaking directly into your life. My child, now that I have stopped you and you know this moment was not random, I want you to let me go a little deeper with you. Do not pull back now. Do not hide behind the version of yourself that has learned how to smile on command and answer quickly when people ask if you are fine. Come closer. Stay with me here. Let me speak to the part of you that no one else fully sees. Because I do see it. I see the tiredness that has settled in places you cannot explain. I see the way your body keeps moving while your heart has been dragging behind you for a long time. I see the emotional weight that follows you from room to room, from day to day, from one responsibility to the next. You have become so used to carrying it that sometimes you barely notice how heavy it has become until you are alone, until the house gets quiet, until the screen goes dark, until the conversation ends, and then suddenly you feel it again. You feel that low ache in your chest. You feel that strange mix of numbness and pressure. You feel that hidden sadness that you have been trying to manage instead of face. I know how often you have told yourself, I just need rest, when what you really needed was peace. I know how often you have blamed your schedule, your stress, your circumstances, your responsibilities, when the deeper truth is that your soul has been carrying more than your words have admitted. Let me tell you something gently, but clearly. Your weariness is not weakness, and your tired heart does not make you a failure. It means you have been fighting internal battles while trying to look steady on the outside. It means you have been pouring out while receiving very little. It means you have been trying to stay strong in places where you needed to be held. That is why I am speaking to you this way. That is why I am not rushing. That is why I am asking you to stay. because you do not need another quick distraction right now. You need truth. You need tenderness. You need the kind of closeness that reaches the parts of you that have been silently collapsing. You have carried disappointments you never properly grieve. You have lived through conversations that hurt more than you let yourself admit. You have replayed words spoken over you, words that bruised you in ways others never noticed. You have absorbed pressure, expectations, rejection, uncertainty, and quiet heartbreak. Some of it came through people you trusted. Some of it came through doors that closed. Some of it came through prayers that seemed to disappear into silence. And because life kept moving, you kept moving too. You adjusted. You adapted. You smiled. You answered texts. You showed up. You fulfilled obligations. You kept doing what needed to be done. But deep inside, your spirit has been like a lamp flickering in a room no one enters. And I need you to hear me. I have entered that room. I am there now. I have not stood outside your pain. I have not watched from a distance. I have been close enough to hear the thoughts you never spoke, and gentle enough not to force you before you were ready. But now I am asking you to stop pretending with me. You do not need to present a polished heart to me. You do not need to filter your emotions for me. You do not need to explain yourself perfectly. Just open. Just breathe. Just let me in fully. If tears rise, let them rise. If your chest tightens because something in these words feels too accurate, do not run from that. Stay with it. Stay with me. This is not me exposing you to shame. This is me reaching into the hidden corners of your life with compassion. Imagine your heart like a house with lights on in the front room and shadows gathering in the back. Everyone sees the front room. They see the tidy parts, the manageable parts, the familiar parts. But I walk into the back rooms. I open the doors you keep closed. I do not do it to embarrass you. I do it because I refuse to let darkness become normal for you. I want those rooms filled with light again. I want the air to change in there. I want you to feel alive where you have only been enduring. So come closer now. Sit with me in this truth. Let me name what you have been too tired to name. You have been weary, yes, but you have also been brave. You have been exhausted, yes, but you have also been enduring. And because I see both your pain and your perseverance, I am not coming to demand more from you. I am coming to draw the poison out, to loosen the pressure, to steady what has been shaking inside you. Listen carefully now. Stop minimizing what has been hurting you. Stop telling yourself that it should not affect you. Stop comparing your pain to someone else's and using that comparison as a reason to stay silent. What you carry matters to me because you matter to me. Lay it down. Hand it over. Bring me the weariness you hide under your routines. Bring me the burden you bury under your responsibilities. Bring me the tired thoughts, the restless nights, the emotions you cannot sort out. Bring all of it. I am not asking you to carry it more gracefully. I am asking you to stop carrying it alone. You have learned how to survive in ways that almost look like strength, and that is one reason this hidden weariness has stayed buried so long. You know how to keep going. You know how to compartmentalize. You know how to put one foot in front of the other and do what must be done. You know how to speak calmly while chaos stirs inside you. You know how to tell yourself that later will be the time when you finally process it, finally feel it, finally rest, finally heal. But later keeps moving. Later becomes another week, another month, another season, and you begin to wonder why joy feels far away even when nothing looks obviously wrong on the outside. This is what I want you to understand. My child, you can become so skilled at surviving that you almost forget what it feels like to live in deep peace. You can become so used to carrying strain that stillness starts to feel unfamiliar. You can become so practiced at protecting your heart that even love feels difficult to trust. That is why I am calling you into honesty right now. Not dramatic honesty, not public honesty, sacred honesty. The kind that happens when you stop in my presence and admit, Lord, I am more tired than I have been saying. I am more wounded than I have admitted. I am more in need of you than I wanted to reveal. Say that in your heart now. Let it be real. Let it be simple. You do not need fancy words. You do not need a perfect prayer. Just be honest. I already know. But when you say it to me, you stop hiding from yourself too. And that matters. Because hidden weariness can become a quiet thief. It steals your wonder first. Then it steals your softness. Then it steals your expectancy. Before long, you start walking through life like a person carrying invisible stones in your pockets, still moving, but heavier than you should be. Still breathing but not breathing deeply. Still functioning but not fully alive. I do not want that for you. I never wanted that for you. You were not created to live as a soul in slow collapse. You were not created to spend your days performing strength while your inner world quietly starves. You were made for communion, not just endurance. You were made for peace, not just productivity. You were made to be held, not just to hold everything together. That is why I am using this moment to call you closer. And yes, I want you to feel the urgency of that. Not fear, but urgency. Do not brush this aside. Do not say, I will think about this later. Say, listen. Receive. Because something begins to shift the moment you stop arguing with your own pain and start bringing it to me. The pressure loses some of its grip. The confusion begins to clear. The false strength begins to loosen. Even now, as you read, I want you to do something simple but holy. Unclench. Unclench your jaw. Unclench your shoulders. Unclench your heart. Stop bracing for a moment. Let your breath slow down. Let my words reach you deeper than your thoughts. Picture the weight you have been carrying like a bag of stones strapped across your shoulders. You have worn it so long that you forgot what your own body feels like without it. Now imagine me standing in front of you, close enough for you to hear my voice without strain, steady enough that you do not have to wonder if I mean what I say. And I do. I am telling you, give me the bag. Hand it over. Stop negotiating with a burden. Stop rearranging the weight. Stop calling it manageable because you have become used to it. Give it to me. Your tiredness is not an inconvenience to me. Your inner ache is not too much for me. Your silent sadness is not something I am impatient with. I know exactly where it began, even if you do not. I know how many layers it has. I know which wounds are old and which disappointments are fresh. I know where the fear enters. I know where the numbness settles. I know the difference between the parts of you that are simply tired and the parts of you that are hurting. And because I know, I can heal what you cannot even fully name. So do not rush away from this. Do not harden yourself because you are afraid of what honesty might uncover. Let me uncover it with gentleness. Let me sit with you in it. Let me speak life where you have only managed survival. You do not need to earn this care. You do not need to prove that you deserve this comfort. You are my child. That is enough. Stay near. Keep listening. Because I am not only revealing the hidden weariness you do not show anyone, I am beginning to lift it. My child, as I meet you in this place of hidden weariness, understand this. What I am doing in you, I also desire to do through you. There are others walking with the same quiet heaviness, the same unseen burdens, waiting for a light to reach them. When you give, you become part of that light. You become like oil poured into lamps that refuse to go out in the darkness. Even now I whisper to your spirit, give, and it shall be given unto you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is not a transaction. It is a sowing into souls who are crying out in silence just as you were. If your heart is stirring, that is me inviting you. Yes, you, to help carry this word further than your own reach. Do not ignore this moment. It is not random. It is appointed. Release your seed through Super Thanks membership with a PayPal link in the description, and watch how I breathe back into your own weary places. Act now. Do not delay what I am prompting in you. Now that I have shown you the weariness you have been hiding, I need to speak to something even deeper, and I need you to listen with your whole heart. Stay with me here. Do not look away now, because what I am about to tell you is not meant to frighten you. It is meant to wake you gently before you drift any farther than you intended. You think this moment is only about whether you stay and listen or whether you move on. But the truth is, my child, you have been standing near the edge of more than a passing distraction. You have been close to walking away from parts of yourself that I have been trying to preserve. You have been close to turning away from hope without calling it that. You have been close to disconnecting from tenderness, from trust, from expectancy, from the quiet confidence that once lived in you more naturally. I am not only talking about faith in the formal sense, though that matters deeply. I am talking about the subtle ways a soul can begin to retreat. The way you stop expecting good things because disappointment feels more believable. The way you start protecting yourself from joy because loss has trained you to brace. The way you lower your hopes so pain will not feel as sharp if things fall apart again. The way you begin to accept emotional distance as wisdom when really it is a wound trying to look mature. You may not have said, I am walking away, but some part of you has been quietly backing up. Some part of you had been stepping farther from wonder, farther from vulnerability, farther from trust. I have seen it. I have seen the moments when you wanted to care deeply but decided it was safer not to. I have seen the moments when you wanted to pray honestly but felt too tired to risk silence again. I have seen the moments when you wanted to believe for something beautiful, but your heart whispered, do not get your hopes up. I have seen the emotional retreat, the spiritual shrinking, the quiet surrender that does not happen in one dramatic decision, but in 100 small ones. That is why I am stopping you with such tenderness and such seriousness. Because I do not only care that you keep listening right now, I care that you do not become the kind of person who survives by slowly abandoning the deepest parts of your own heart. I care that you do not become so guarded that even my love has to knock longer than it should. I care that you do not become so resigned that you call numbness peace. There is a difference, my child, and I need you to know it. Peace is soft and steady. Numbness is cold and distant. Peace lets you feel safe enough to be real. Numbness convinces you to feel less so nothing can hurt. Peace opens you. Numbness closes you. If you are honest, you have been living closer to that second place than you realized. And I am not saying that to shame you. I am saying it because I love you too much to let you keep drifting there without calling your name. You have been through enough that your retreat makes sense to me. I understand why you became cautious. I understand why you started pulling back. I understand why your heart learned to stand at the door instead of entering fully. I know what the disappointments did. I know what the betrayal did. I know what unanswered prayers did. I know what repeated letdowns did. They taught you to hold back. They taught you to expect less. They taught you to stand half in and half out of your own life. But listen to me carefully now. What wounded you does not get to define you forever. What hurt you does not get to become your identity. What disappointed you does not get to rewrite the future I still have for you. So I am asking you to notice what has been happening. Not to judge yourself, but to wake up. Look at where you have been retreating. Look at the places where you stopped reaching. Look at the areas where you told yourself, it does not matter anymore, when deep down it mattered very much. Be honest with me. Where have you emotionally checked out? Where have you spiritually gone quiet? Where have you stopped expecting healing? Where have you stopped bringing me the real thing because you were afraid of hoping again? Name it. Bring it into the light. Do not leave it hidden. Because the moment you bring it into the light, it stops having the same secret power over you. I am not asking you to fix it by yourself. I am asking you to stop pretending it is not there. Come with me into that place. Let me show you that the edge you have been standing near is not where your story ends. Step back from it. Come closer to me. Let me steady your footing before weariness turns into distance, before disappointment turns into withdrawal, before self-protection turns into isolation so deep that you begin to call it normal. This is your invitation. This is your warning wrapped in love. This is me saying, with all the gentleness and authority of a father who knows exactly what is at stake, do not keep backing away from the life inside you. I want you to hear this next part as personally as possible, because it is for you. You have not only been close to walking away from hope, you have been close to walking away from the version of yourself I have been carefully rebuilding beneath all this pressure. There is something in you that the enemy, the world, disappointment, and even your own exhaustion have all been trying to wear down at the same time. It is your openness. It is your softness. It is your willingness to believe again. It is your ability to love without constant suspicion. It is your capacity to dream without apologizing for it. It is your ability to hear my voice and still trust that I mean what I say. Those things are precious. Those things are not childish. Those things are not weaknesses you need to outgrow. Those things are sacred parts of your design. And because they are so valuable, they have been under pressure. That is why some days you feel strangely detached from yourself. That is why some days you move through the hours and later realize you barely felt anything. That is why some nights you are more tired from holding yourself together than from anything you physically did. Your soul has been under strain. You have been close to making inner agreements that would have cost you more than you realize. Agreements like, I will never expect too much again. Agreements like, I should stop caring so deeply. Agreements like, it is safer not to trust anyone, not even fully trust God in this area. Agreements like, this is just how life is now. My child, you not sign those agreements. Break them. Renounce them. Refuse them. I say that with love, but I say it clearly. Refuse the lie that disappointment is your destiny. Refuse the lie that distance is maturity. Refuse the lie that closing your heart is wisdom. Refuse the lie that because something precious hurt you, nothing precious can ever reach you again. I am inviting you right now into a holy reversal. Turn around. If part of you has been backing away, turn back toward me. If part of you has been shrinking, breathe again. If part of you has been trying to disappear inside routines, responsibilities, and emotional self-protection, come back into the room. Come back into your own life. Come back into my presence without armor. Let me say something to you that may feel like a visual in your spirit. You have been standing near a shoreline at dusk, the light fading, the tide pulling at your feet, and you have almost convinced yourself to drift because fighting the current feels exhausting. But I am walking into that water toward you. I am not shouting from a distance. I am close enough to take your hand. And I am telling you, step toward me, not toward the deep. Do not let the tide decide your future. Do not let the current of fatigue, fear, or resignation pull you somewhere your heart was never meant to live. Take my hand. Reach now. Breathe now. Stay now. Listen now. This is one of those moments where a small inward decision changes more than you can see. The moment you decide, I will not emotionally disappear. I will not spiritually withdraw. I will not surrender my heart to numbness. I will not call distance peace. I will not call fear wisdom. I will not turn away from the one who is still speaking to me. Something begins to shift. The ground under you becomes more solid. The fog begins to thin. The inner noise loses some of its control. Even if the circumstances do not instantly change, the direction changes. And direction matters. That is what this title means at a deeper level, my child. Do not turn away is not only about a message on a screen. It is about your soul. It is about your future. It is about the tenderness in you that I still intend to restore. It is about the parts of you that are not dead, only buried under too much pressure. It is about the dreams you have not truly lost, only hidden. It is about the trust that has not vanished, only gone quiet. I am calling all of that back. So answer me now in your heart. Even if your voice trembles, answer me. Tell me I will stay. I will not drift. I will not disappear inside my pain. I will not let disappointment have the final word. I will not turn away. Say it quietly if you need to. Whisper it if that is all you can do. But make the decision. Because I am here, and I am not only exposing what almost happened, I am pulling you back from it. And if you keep walking with me from this point forward, you will one day look back and realize that this was one of the moments that saved you from becoming someone you were never meant to be. My child, now that I have brought you this far, I need you to stay very close and listen with more than your ears. Listen with that deeper place inside you that still remembers what my voice feels like when it reaches the parts of you that have been hurting in silence. Do not rush through this next part. Slow down. Breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Let the noise in your thoughts settle for a moment, because what I am about to tell you is not small. It is not surface comfort. It is not one more soft sentence meant only to calm you for a few minutes before the heaviness returns. I have something to tell you that can change the way you see what has been happening to you. And if you let it in, it will not erase every memory overnight, but it will begin to take the poison out of those memories. It will begin to shift the way you carry what you have lived through. It will begin to pull you out of that exhausting place where you have been trying to make sense of pain with a wounded mind and a tired heart. You have been looking backward at certain parts of your life and asking questions that keep circling without landing anywhere peaceful. You have looked at closed doors and wondered if you were rejected. You have looked at broken relationships and wondered if you were too much or not enough. You have looked at delays and assumed you were forgotten. You have looked at disappointments and quietly started building an identity around them. You did not mean to do that, but it happened little by little. You started interpreting pain as proof. Proof that maybe you were late. Proof that maybe you missed something. Proof that maybe what you hoped for was never really for you. I need you to stop right there. Stop building conclusions out of wounds that have not healed yet. Stop letting pain narrate your story as if pain knows the full script. Pain is loud, but it is not all-knowing. Pain can describe the storm, but it cannot tell you why I kept you through it. Pain can point to the ashes, but it cannot see the seeds hidden under them. pain can tell you what was lost, but it cannot see what I prevented, what I protected, what I preserved, and what I am still preparing. So come closer and let me reframe this with you. Let me take your face gently in my hands, spiritually speaking, and turn your gaze just enough so you can begin to see from a higher angle. What you called rejection was not always rejection. Some of it was rescue. What you called delay was not always absence. Some of it was design. What you called silence was not always distance. Some of it was me working in places you could not yet reach. I know that may not instantly answer every ache. I know that does not make every wound stop hurting the moment you hear it. But it matters, because the meaning you attach to your pain shapes the way you carry it. If you believe every hard thing means you were abandoned, then your heart will keep shrinking. If you believe every closed door means you were unwanted, then your courage will keep fading. If you believe every delay means I forgot you, then your trust will keep weakening. But if you let me show you that some of the things that hurt you also protected you, then hope begins to breathe again. If you let me show you that what felt like an ending was often a redirection, then your heart begins to soften instead of harden. If you let me show you that not every loss was punishment, then you stop punishing yourself for surviving. I want you to picture something with me. Imagine you are walking through a dense forest at night, carrying a small lantern that only shows you a few steps ahead. You trip over roots, branches scratch your arms, and at one point a path you thought was leading somewhere suddenly ends at a cliff you could not see until you were almost there. In that moment, you might call the whole journey cruel. You might think the darkness itself is against you. But what if I was the one who kept extinguishing certain false lights so you would not run straight over the edge? What if the path that collapsed beneath your plans was the one that would have broken you farther ahead? What if the detour that exhausted you was the very thing that kept you alive? Stay with that image. Let it settle. Because there are things I have spared you from that you still mistakenly grieve as if they were lost blessings. There are people you still miss who could not have stewarded your heart well. There are opportunities you still wonder about that would have fed your pride while starving your peace. There are outcomes you still think would have completed you that would have left you emptier than before. I am not saying every pain was pleasant. I am not asking you to call evil good. I am not telling you to pretend what hurt did not hurt. I am telling you that my hand was present in more of your story than you realized. So stop accusing yourself for not understanding sooner. Stop demanding that your past make immediate sense. Stop staring only at the cut and ignoring the surgery. Sometimes healing wounds look like losses before they look like mercy. Let me say that again to your spirit, not as a slogan but as a living truth. Sometimes healing wounds look like losses before they look like mercy. Sit with that. Let it work on you. Let it untangle the knot. And now do something brave. Open your hands in your heart. Release the need to interpret every painful chapter alone. Invite me in. Say, Lord, show me what I have been misreading. Show me where I called protection punishment. Show me where I called redirection rejection. Show me where I have been carrying pain with the wrong meaning. That prayer matters. Pray it. Whisper it. Stay open. Because I do have something to tell you, and part of it is this. Your pain has not been pointless, and your story is not being written by the moments that wounded you. You have been carrying certain memories like sealed boxes, and every time you touch one, it feels like it still has the power to define the room. I know the boxes I am talking about. I know the one filled with the relationship that ended in confusion, where you kept replaying conversations and trying to find the moment it all changed. I know the one filled with the opportunity that vanished just when you thought your life was finally turning. I know the one filled with the prayer that you believed with your whole heart and then watched sit unanswered until hope itself felt embarrassed. I know the box marked "I thought this would be different." You have carried that one for a long time. You move it from corner to corner inside your soul. Sometimes you ignore it. Sometimes you stare at it. Sometimes you open it just enough to hurt yourself with it again. But now I am asking you, with a kind of loving authority only a father can use, bring me the boxes. You not organize them first. Do not decorate them with spiritual language so they look easier to hand over. Bring them as they are. Bring the confusion. Bring the anger you felt ashamed to admit. Bring the questions you buried because you thought they sounded too raw. Bring the disappointment that still stings when certain names, dates, or memories come back around. Bring it all. Set it down in front of me. This is not the moment to curate your pain. This is the moment to surrender it. Because until you let me touch the meaning of those moments, you will keep living under conclusions I never wrote over your life. And those false conclusions are heavy. They tell you that you are unlucky when you are actually being led. They tell you that you are behind when you are actually being positioned. They tell you that you are disqualified when you are actually being refined. That is the contrast I need you to feel in your spirit. You have been reading black ink where I was still writing gold. You have been calling it burial when I was planting. You have been staring at winter branches and deciding the tree is dead, while underneath the frozen surface roots were deepening where you could not see. That is not poetry for the sake of beauty, my child. That is truth for the sake of healing. I need you to imagine that tree. Stand there with me in that cold season. Touch the bark. Look at the empty limbs. From the outside, it looks lifeless. It looks barren. It looks finished. But below the ground, something is happening that the eye cannot celebrate yet. Strength is moving downward before fruit can ever rise upward. That is what some of your hardest seasons have been. Rude work, hidden work, humbling work, quiet work, work that felt unfair because it did not look like progress. Yet I tell you now, some of the most important things I have done in you happened in seasons where nothing around you looked impressive. You thought I was delaying your life. I was deepening your roots. You thought I was withholding joy. I was building capacity. You thought I was making you wait. I was making you ready. Let that sink in. Receive it, not as a cliche, but as correction for the way pain has been speaking over you. And yes, I want you to do something with this now. Revisit one painful place in your heart, not all of them at once, just one. Bring it into my presence. Ask me what was true here that I could not see then. Sit quietly in that. You do not need a dramatic vision. You do not need fireworks. Just let the question open the door. Because once that door opens, I can begin to heal not only the wound, but the interpretation. And when the interpretation heals, the memory loses some of its chains. You can remember without reliving. You can look back without collapsing. You can grieve without becoming trapped. That is what I want for you. I am not asking you to deny your scars. I am asking you to let me rewrite what they mean. They are not evidence that I failed you. They are often evidence that I carried you through what should have finished you. They are not proof that you were forgotten. They are proof that you survived long enough for me to speak to you now. So listen carefully as we move forward. The pain was real, but it was not the ruler. The loss was painful, but it was not the author. A delay was frustrating, but it was not abandonment. I have something to tell you that reframes the whole landscape, and this is only the beginning. Stay close. Keep listening. Keep your heart open. Because once you stop seeing your life only through the lens of hurt, you will begin to recognize how much of your story has actually been held together by my mercy. My child, now that I've begun to reframe your pain, I want you to see this truth clearly. Nothing you release into my hands is ever wasted, including what you give. Just as I have turned your losses into hidden protection, I will turn your generosity into a harvest you cannot yet see. There are lives waiting on the other side of your obedience, hearts that will find clarity because you chose to sow when it mattered. I have said, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and I speak that over you now, not as distant scripture, but as a living promise. When you give into this mission, you are planting seeds in fields that are ready for awakening. I am inviting you personally to partner with me in this work, to transform pain into purpose beyond your own story. Step into this moment with faith, not hesitation. Give now through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and let your seed speak where your voice cannot. My child, this next truth may be one of the hardest for you to receive, but it may also be one of the most healing if you let it go all the way down into your spirit. Stay with me. Do not tense up. Do not close off just because this touches the places where you have felt the most confused. Let me walk carefully with you here, because I know this is sacred ground. There have been seasons in your life where my silence hurt you more than anything else. Not because I was cruel, but because you expected closeness and felt distance instead. You prayed, and the room did not seem to change. You waited, and the door did not open. You asked for clarity, and the fog seemed to thicken. You begged for relief, and the burden remained longer than you thought it should. Those were not small moments for you. Those were nights with wet pillows, quiet tears, clenched jaws, restless pacing, heavy breathing, and thoughts you did not even know how to put into words. Those were the moments where you wondered if I had stepped back. Those were the moments where you questioned whether I was listening at all. Those were the moments where you almost convinced yourself that maybe heaven had gone still. I know exactly how that felt from inside your chest. I know how the silence can sound louder than any answer when you are already hurting. I know how it can make you question yourself, your prayers, your timing, your worth, even my love. But now I need you to hear me very clearly, and I need you to resist the urge to judge these words too quickly based on what it felt like at the time. What you thought was silence was often my protection. Not always in the way you expected. Not always in the way you would have chosen. But often deeply, intentionally, lovingly, it was protection. There were times I did not answer the prayer the way you wanted because the thing you were reaching for looked like relief, but carried hidden ruin. There were times I did not move the person back into your life, because your heart would have called it reunion while your future would have suffered it as erosion. There were times I did not give you the opportunity when you wanted it because what looked like advancement on the outside would have created inner collapse on the inside. There were times I let the door stay closed not because I was indifferent, but because I could see what was standing on the other side waiting to consume more than you were ready to lose. This is where trust becomes holy, my child. Not easy, but holy. Because I saw details you could not. I saw motives hidden behind smiles. I saw traps disguised as answers. I saw the cost attached to things you called blessings. I saw the cracks in the foundation before you ever stepped onto it. I saw what success in the wrong season would have done to your soul. I saw what attachment to the wrong person would have done to your peace. I saw what getting your way too early would have done to your character. I saw how the thing you were begging me to restore might have become the very thing that drained you dry. So yes, there were moments when I was quiet. But quiet does not mean absent. Stillness does not mean neglect. Delay does not mean disinterest. Sometimes a loving father does not shout because he is shielding. Sometimes I stand between you and what you want so that one day you will understand why you are still whole. Imagine a child reaching toward a glittering blade on a table. The child sees shine. The father sees danger. If the father snatches the hand away, the child may cry, may misunderstand, may even feel denied. But the father is not being cruel. He is being kind at a level the child cannot yet interpret. That is what some of my silences have been. Not rejection, redirection, not abandonment, intervention, not distance, offense. I want you to let those contrasts settle into your spirit, because they matter. They correct the narrative that pain wrote over those seasons. And I want you to do something practical with this. Think of one prayer you still feel bruised by because it seemed unanswered. Hold it before me now. Do not rush. Do not fake peace about it. Hold it honestly. Then ask me, were you protecting me there in ways I could not see? Ask it sincerely. Let the question soften you. Let it open a window. Because even if you do not understand every detail right now, that question can begin healing the accusation you have been carrying in your heart against me. I do not want distance between us built on misunderstood silence. I want trust rebuilt on truth. There is another layer to this, and I want you to hear it because it is deeply personal to where you are right now. Some of the silence you felt was not only me keeping something from you, it was also me preparing something within you. Protection is not always about blocking what is outside. Sometimes it is about strengthening what is inside. You asked me for doors, and I was building discernment. You asked me for speed, and I was building depth. You asked me for relief, and I was building resilience. You asked me for clarity, and I was building character strong enough to carry the answer when it came. That is not punishment. That is fatherhood. And I need you to understand this, because if you miss it, you will keep mislabeling sacred seasons as wasted seasons. You will keep looking at hidden formation and calling it lost time. You will keep measuring your life only by visible outcomes and miss the invisible work that made those outcomes safe for you later. Let me give you a picture. Imagine a house being built on a hill. From the road, for months it looks like almost nothing is happening. Dirt is being moved. Trenches are dug. Concrete disappears into the ground. Wires are hidden behind walls. Pipes run where no guest will ever admire them. If someone judged the process too early, they might call it delay. They might say, why is there no beautiful room yet? Why is there no visible progress? Why does it look so slow? But the builder knows something the impatient eye forgets. The parts no one applauds are the parts that keep the house standing when storms come. That is what many of your silent seasons have been. Foundation work, hidden reinforcement, interior strengthening, the kind of work that does not impress the crowd but saves the structure. And you, my child, are more than a project to me. You are my beloved. So why would I hand you a life that looks impressive from the outside if the inside would collapse under pressure? Why would I give you open doors with weak hinges? Why would I give you visible favor without inner formation? I love you too much for that. I am not in a hurry to impress the world with you. I am committed to building something in you that can endure. That is why some seasons felt so quiet. That is why some prayers seemed to hang in the air. That is why some answers arrived later than your emotions wanted. I was not only protecting you from what could harm you, I was protecting what I had already placed inside you. Your tenderness, your calling, your integrity, your future peace, your ability to recognize my voice, your capacity to carry blessing without being crushed by it. So do not despise those silent seasons now. Revisit them with me. Bring them back, not to relive them in sorrow, but to let me reinterpret them in truth. Ask me, what were you building in me there? What did you keep alive in me while I thought nothing was happening? That question matters. It opens healing. It turns bitterness into understanding. It transforms accusation into intimacy. And as you do that, I want you to take a step further. Release the false belief that if I am quiet, I am far. Break that belief now. Let it go. Refuse it. Replace it with this truth. Even when I could not trace my hand, I was still under your life like a foundation under a house, unseen but holding everything. Carry that image with you. Let it become a visual anchor when old confusion tries to return. When you remember the unanswered prayer, see the hidden foundation. When you remember the closed door, see the Father's hand on the child's wrist near the blade. When you remember the delay, see the builder reinforcing the unseen beams before the storm arrives. Those images are not decoration. They are medicine for your memory. And I want you to receive them that way. Because what I am doing now is not simply explaining the past. I am restoring trust for your future. If you can begin to believe that my silence has often been safer than the answer you demanded, then your heart will stop flinching every time the waiting grows long. If you can begin to believe that I was protecting you when you felt overlooked, then your soul will start resting instead of panicking. If you can begin to believe that I never went absent, only hidden for a holy reason, then your relationship with me will deepen in a way that no quick miracle ever could. So stay close. Keep your heart open. Let the old ache meet this new truth. Let the tension loosen. Let the accusation melt. Let the trust return. Because what you thought was silence was often my protection, and what felt like distance was often my love standing guard over things you could not yet see. My child, now that I have shown you that my silence was not abandonment and that my protection has been closer than you realized, I need to bring you to a place that may feel both relieving and uncomfortable at the same time. Stay with me. Do not rush past this because it touches one of the deepest habits you have built in your life. You have spent so much time trying to hold yourself together that you have almost forgotten how to be held. You have become skilled at managing what hurts instead of surrendering what hurts. You have become disciplined in appearing stable while parts of you have been trembling beneath the surface. You know how to keep functioning. You know how to keep answering. You know how to keep producing. You know how to keep being the one who handles it. You know how to keep the room calm even when your own thoughts are loud. And in many ways, that has looked admirable to others. It has even looked admirable to you at times. But I need you to hear me with complete honesty now. Some of what you have called strength has actually been fear dressed in responsibility. Some of what you have called maturity has been self-protection wearing the clothes of wisdom. Some of what you have called resilience has been a refusal to collapse because you believe that if you ever loosen your grip, everything inside you would spill out in ways you could not control. That is exhausting, my child. That is why you feel tired in places sleep cannot reach. That is why you sometimes wake up already carrying the emotional weight of a day that has not even started. That is why your body can be sitting still while your inner world feels like it is bracing for impact. You have been trying to hold yourself together like someone clutching the edges of a cracked vessel, afraid that if you let go even slightly, everything precious will pour out and be lost. But listen carefully. I never asked you to become your own container. I never asked you to be your own fortress. I never asked you to save yourself from breaking. I asked you to come to me. I asked you to bring me the burden. I asked you to trust me with the parts of you that do not feel manageable. Somewhere along the way, you started treating surrender like risk and control like safety. And I understand why. Life taught you that when things fall apart, you may be the one who has to clean up the mess. Disappointment taught you that depending on the wrong people hurts. Betrayal taught you that vulnerability can be expensive. Delay taught you that if you want relief, Sometimes you have to keep moving while the ache is still there. So you adapted. You learned how to grip harder. You learned how to shut down the deeper cry and keep the machine running. But adaptation is not always healing. Survival is not the same as peace. Control is not the same as trust. And this is the holy invitation I am placing before you right now. Stop fighting to hold yourself together and let me hold you. Do not make this more complicated than it needs to be. I'm not asking for a dramatic performance. I am not asking for perfect language. I'm asking for release. I am asking for honesty. I am asking for the courage to stop white-knuckling your own soul. Picture your hands for a moment. Feel them in your imagination if you need to. See how tightly they have been gripping the edge of your circumstances, your fears, your plans, your image, your outcomes. Now picture me standing in front of you, close enough that my presence is not theoretical. My hands are open. My eyes are steady. My voice is not impatient. And I am saying to you with tenderness and authority, open your hands. That is the command. That is the invitation. Open your hands. Release the need to predict everything. Release the need to understand every delay before you trust me. Release the need to appear stronger than you feel. Release the need to carry the emotional cost of every unanswered question. Release the version of yourself that thinks constant control is the only way to stay safe. You are not safest in your grip. You are safest in my grasp. Let that settle deeply. You are not safest in your grip. You are safest in my grasp. And because I know how hard that is for you, I am not scolding you for struggling with it. I am guiding you through it. I know what you fear. You fear that if you stop bracing, grief will surface. You fear that if you stop managing, anger will rise. You fear that if you stop suppressing, sadness will flood the room. You fear that if you truly let me in, you may have to feel what you have spent years keeping organized in little sealed compartments. Yes, you might feel more before you feel lighter. Yes, some buried things may come up. But that is not destruction. That is release. That is not collapse. That is cleansing. That is not weakness. That is the beginning of being carried. So do something right now, inwardly and honestly. Say to me, I am tired of carrying myself like this. Say it. Then say, teach me how to be held. That prayer is more powerful than you realize. It shifts the posture of your soul. It tells me you are no longer trying to be your own savior. It opens a door that effort has kept shut. It lets my peace enter not as an idea but as a presence. Stay there for a moment. Do not rush to the next thought. Let the invitation breathe inside you. Let your chest soften. Let your inner defenses lower, even if only a little. Because this is not about you finally becoming stronger. It is about you finally admitting that you were never meant to carry all of this without me. You have mistaken tension for readiness for so long that peace can almost feel unfamiliar when it first arrives. That is why when I begin to quiet something inside you, part of you immediately wants to pick the weight back up. You are used to the hum of anxiety. You are used to the background pressure. You are used to mentally rehearsing problems before they happen. You are used to keeping emotional guards posted at every door of your heart. You are used to telling yourself that if you stay alert enough, prepared enough, self-contained enough, you can reduce the damage when life turns suddenly. But my child, that constant inner readiness has become a prison with polished walls. It looks responsible. It sounds practical. It feels familiar. But it keeps you from resting in the kind of trust that lets your soul breathe again. This is why I am not only telling you to surrender the big obvious things. I am asking you to surrender the hidden inner posture that keeps reaching for control whenever uncertainty appears. Let me say it plainly. Stop rehearsing disaster as if it is wisdom. Stop building emotional shelters out of fear and calling them boundaries. Stop negotiating with your own heaviness as if it is normal to live this clenched. Come out from that place. Step into the open with me. You do not have to know how everything will unfold in order to be safe. You do not have to solve tomorrow tonight. You do not have to carry every possible version of pain in advance just to feel prepared. That kind of preparation never truly protects you. It only drains you before the day even arrives. Let me give you an image. Imagine you are walking across a narrow bridge suspended over a deep valley. The wind is strong, and the boards beneath your feet creak just enough to make you nervous. In your fear, you crouch low and grip the rope so tightly that your hands begin to ache. You tell yourself that your tight grip is the reason you are safe. But what if the real reason you are safe is that the bridge was anchored by hands stronger than yours before you ever stepped onto it? What if your white-knuckled effort has less to do with your survival than you think? What if the structure beneath you is already being held? That is your life more often than you realize. You have been clinging with all your might, convinced that your grip is what keeps you from falling, while underneath you my faithfulness has been the true support all along. So I say again, release. Not because nothing matters, but because I matter more than the thing you are gripping. Release because I am not asking you to fall into emptiness. I am asking you to lean into me. Release because your soul needs relief. Release because your heart cannot heal while it is constantly braced. Release because the very strength you think you need is often found on the other side of surrender. I want you to do something practical again. Identify one thing you have been trying to hold together by force. Maybe it is an outcome. Maybe it is a relationship. Maybe it is your image. Maybe it is a fear about money, health, family, purpose, or timing. Name it. Bring it before me. Then speak this in your heart. I release my grip on this. I will still show up. I will still obey. I will still be responsible, but I will not carry what belongs in your hands. That is mature surrender, not passivity, not neglect, not laziness. It is responsibility without self-idolatry. It is action without panic. It is faith without pretending you control the ending. And as you begin to live this way, something beautiful starts happening. Your nervous system quiets. Your inner world becomes less crowded. Your reactions soften. Your sleep deepens. Your prayers become less performative and more real. Your decisions become less driven by fear and more guided by peace. Your relationships become less about managing impressions and more about truth. You stop living like someone standing in a storm trying to hold the roof down with bare hands. You start living like someone who finally trusts the shelter. That is what I want for you. That is what I am calling you into. So come here. Closer. Stay under my covering. Stop trying to impress me with how well you carry pain. I am not moved by your ability to hide your burden. I am moved by your willingness to hand it over. Stop proving that you can endure. Let me show you that you can be carried. Do not just admire that idea. Practice it. Receive it. Return to it when fear comes back. And if you feel yourself tightening again tomorrow, next week, next month, hear my voice before the tension fully builds. Open your hands. I will keep saying it, not as pressure but as rescue. Because I am not only asking you to let go of what hurts, I am teaching you how to live held. My child, as you loosen your grip and begin to trust me to hold you, understand this. What you release in faith creates space for my provision to flow. Do not think your giving is separate from your healing. It is part of your surrender. Like a river that must open its banks to keep flowing, your generosity allows my life to move through you and into others who are still holding themselves together. I have declared, it is more blessed to give than to receive, and I am calling you into that blessing now, not later, not when it feels convenient. This is a sacred exchange, where you trust me enough to release, and I meet you with abundance in ways you did not expect. If you feel the nudge, it is my voice saying, trust me here too. Support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and watch how I carry not only your burden, but your provision. Open your hands and act now. My child, if you have stayed with me this far, then you can feel it already, even if only faintly. Something inside you is shifting. Not because every circumstance has changed in a moment, but because the way you are seeing yourself, your pain, and my nearness is beginning to change. And that matters more than you realize. Because before the visible breakthroughs come, there is often an inner turning that makes room for them. Before the path looks different, the posture changes. Before the burden lifts in the natural, the agreement with heaviness breaks in the spirit. That is why I need you to hear this next message with full attention. This is a turning point. Not in the dramatic, noisy way the world celebrates turning points, but in the quiet, holy way that changes the direction of a life. This is the moment where you stop calling survival peace. You have done what you needed to do to get through seasons that were hard, unfair, confusing, and at times deeply lonely. I honor that. I am not dismissing your endurance. I am not minimizing what it took for you to keep going. You survived nights that felt longer than they should have. You carried questions that did not get quick answers. You showed up in rooms while your inner world was unsettled. You kept breathing when you wanted to shut down. You kept moving when the weight was real. That matters to me. I saw every hidden act of endurance. I saw the mornings when your first thought was already heavy. I saw the evenings when you could finally stop performing and feel the ache again. I saw the moments where you wanted to disappear into distraction just so you would not have to feel the pressure. I saw all of it. And yes, survival got you here. It did. But it is not where I want you to live. Survival was a bridge, not a home. Survival was a season, not an identity. Survival was a response to pressure, not the promise I wrote over your life. Yet without realizing it, you have begun to decorate survival and call it normal. You have started making permanent homes out of temporary coping patterns. You have started saying things like, "This is just who I am now," when really you are describing a version of yourself shaped by exhaustion, not by wholeness. You have started mistaking numbness for stability. You have started mistaking low expectations for wisdom. You have started mistaking emotional distance for maturity. You have started mistaking the absence of breakdown for actual peace. But peace is more than the absence of visible chaos. Peace is not simply you functioning while hurting. Peace is not just you staying composed. Peace is not merely the ability to get through the day without falling apart. Peace is deeper. Peace is when your soul is no longer living in constant brace mode. Peace is when trust becomes more natural than panic. Peace is when your inner life is not built around defense. Peace is when you can feel deeply without drowning. Peace is when you can hope without apologizing for it. Peace is when you can be honest without feeling like honesty will destroy you. That is what I want for you. That is what I am inviting you into right now. So stop settling for the counterfeit. Stop calling your survival system peace just because it kept you functional. Stop treating your coping patterns like sacred wisdom when some of them were only emergency responses. They helped you get through, I know that. But they are not meant to lead you forever. Let me show you the difference. Imagine living in a house after a storm shattered the windows. To survive the wind, you boarded them up. That was why for the storm. That was necessary in the moment. But if months later the sun is out, the sky is clear, and you still keep the boards up because it feels safer than opening the windows again, then what once protected you begins to block light, air, warmth, and life. That is what has happened in parts of your heart. The boards went up for a reason. I do not shame that. But now I am saying, the storm has passed in some places, and you are still living behind wood that no longer serves you. Let me take some of the boards down. Let the light in. Let the air move again. Let your heart breathe in rooms that have felt stale for too long. Do not resist me when I start opening what you learned to keep shut. This is not recklessness. This is restoration. This is not me making you vulnerable for no reason. This is me bringing life back to spaces where fear made long-term decisions. Come with me into that process. Invite me in. Say it plainly. Show me where I am surviving instead of living. Show me where I have mistaken coping for peace. Show me what needs to come down. That is a brave prayer. Pray it. Let it search you gently. Because if you let me, I will show you exactly where your soul has been living in emergency mode long after the emergency passed. And now I want to take you one step further, because a turning point is not only about what you stop doing. It is also about what you begin to accept as true. You are not only leaving survival behind, you are learning to receive a different way of living. That means you must stop measuring safety only by how little you feel. You must stop evaluating your healing by how controlled you appear. You must stop deciding whether you are okay based only on whether you made it through the day without tears. Those are incomplete measurements, my child. They are too small for what I am doing in you. I am not trying to help you become more polished in your pain. I am healing you toward real life. And real life with me has breath in it. It has tenderness in it. It has depth. It has freedom. It has the ability to remain soft without being fragile, strong without becoming hard, open without becoming naive. That kind of life is possible for you. Do not argue with that. Do not disqualify yourself because of your past. Do not say it may be for someone else but not for me. I am talking to you. You. Not a future, more perfect version of you. Not a version of you that has no scars. You as you are right now. This is why I want more than your agreement in theory. I want your participation. I want you to begin acting like someone who believes that peace can be deeper than mere survival. So start making small holy decisions that match that truth. When anxiety begins rehearsing the worst, pause and interrupt it. Do not just listen. Speak back. Tell your soul, I do not live in emergency mode anymore. When disappointment tries to make you lower your expectations to protect yourself, notice it. Do not automatically obey it. Bring it to me. When you feel the urge to shut down emotionally because being open feels risky, slow down. Ask whether that is wisdom or fear. When you catch yourself clinging tightly to control, remember what I told you. Open your hands. When you feel tempted to call numbness peace because at least it hurts less, stop and ask whether the light has simply been blocked again. These are not small things. These are the daily acts that turn a soul back toward life. Let me give you one more picture, because I want this to stay with you. Imagine a person who has spent years walking with a limp after an injury. The body adapts. Muscles compensate. The limp becomes familiar. It becomes efficient. It becomes normal. Then healing begins. But healing feels strange at first because the person has to learn how to walk differently than what pain taught them. That is where you are in some areas of your life. You have learned to walk with a limp in your emotions, your expectations, your trust, your inner rest. You adapted. You survived. But now I am healing you, and healing can feel unfamiliar before it feels natural. So do not panic if peace feels strange at first. Do not run back to old tension because it feels more familiar. Do not sabotage stillness because your nervous system expects noise. Stay with me. Practice the new walk. Let me reteach your soul. Let me show you how to move through life without dragging old pain behind every step. Let me teach you how to recognize peace not as emptiness but as fullness. Let me show you that being calm does not mean being disconnected. Let me prove to you that you can be deeply alive without being overwhelmed. This is your turning point, and I want you to mark it inwardly. Not with a dramatic vow you cannot sustain, but with a real decision you can return to. Decide this. I will no longer confuse coping with healing. I will no longer mistake numbness for peace. I will no longer call mere endurance my promised life. I will let God teach me how to live again. That is enough. That is powerful. That is the doorway. Walk through it. Zap forward. Stay near. Keep listening. Because from here, I am not only helping you survive what has hurt you, I am leading you into a way of living where your soul remembers what it feels like to be whole. My child, now that I have brought you through the hidden weariness, the quiet retreat, the misunderstood silence, the grip of self-protection, and the difference between survival and peace, I need to take you somewhere even more personal. Stay close. Do not glance away from this part because it touches the room inside you that you rarely let anyone enter. You have an inner room where you go when life hurts too much. I know it well because I have stood outside its door many times, not because I was unwelcome to me, but because you were afraid of what would happen if you let anyone, even me, see what was really inside. That room is where you store the version of yourself you do not show in daylight. It is where the unspoken fears sit in quarters. It is where old disappointments keep their shape. It is where shame tries to hang like a curtain over your reflection. It is where you replay what happened, what should have happened, what you wish you had said, what you wish they had not done, what you still cannot explain, and what you are tired of carrying but do not know how to release. You have gone into that room so often that it has started to feel like part of your identity. Sometimes you do not even realize you are there. But inwardly, you are sitting in that room, half lit, arms folded around yourself, waiting for the next disappointment, listening for the next sound that confirms your fear that something else will go wrong. I need you to hear me very clearly. That room was never meant to become your permanent home. It may have been where you retreated to recover. It may have been where you hid because pain felt safer in private. It may have been where you learned to manage your emotions without exposing your vulnerability. But it is not where I designed you to live. You were not made for hidden emotional exile. You were not created to build a life around self-containment. You were not formed to spend your years behind locked doors while your heart slowly adjusts to dim light. That is why I am speaking with this kind of tenderness and this kind of insistence. Come out. Yes, I mean that as both an invitation and a command. Come out of that inner room. Do not tidy it first. Do not wait until you can explain every object inside it. Do not stand in the doorway and negotiate with me. Open the door wider. Let me step in. Let my presence touch the stale air in there. Let my voice fill the places where only your own thoughts have echoed. I know the room may feel safer than openness because nothing unexpected enters there unless you let it. But safety built on isolation is not true safety. It is controlled loneliness. It is quiet pain. It is a small world built to reduce risk, but it also reduces life. That is not my best for you. I want to show you something. Picture that room now. See it honestly. There may be a chair where you sit when you overthink. There may be boxes stacked with memories you revisit when you feel vulnerable. There may be a mirror in there, but it is fogged by old lies and old labels. There may be a window, but the curtains are drawn because you stopped expecting light to help. And now picture me entering that room, not storming in, not condemning, not criticizing, not forcing my way into your pain like someone who does not understand it. Picture me entering with calm authority, like a father who knows every wound in that room and is not intimidated by any of it. I walk over to the curtains first. I open them, not to expose you, but to let the light tell the truth. Then I move toward the mirror. I wipe it clean, not so you can admire yourself in pride, but so you can finally see yourself without the distortion of fear, shame, rejection, and disappointment. Then I look at the boxes. I know which ones matter. I know which ones you keep reopening. I know which ones still have power over your breathing when certain dates or names return. And I do not say, why do you still have these? I say, bring them here. Because I do not heal by demanding that you pretend you never hurt. I heal by meeting you inside the hurt and refusing to let the hurt remain your master. So bring me the boxes. Bring me the old script. Bring me the hidden self-accusation. Bring me the private grief. Bring me the version of you that thinks staying hidden is the safest way to survive. Bring it now. Do not postpone it. Do not say you will come back later. This is the moment. Open the door. Step back. Let me in. And as I begin to move through that inner room, listen for what changes first. The air changes. The heaviness shifts. The silence becomes less threatening. The room that once felt like a hiding place starts to feel like a place of encounter. That is what I am doing with you. I am not dragging you out into exposure. I am transforming the place you hid into the place where you begin to heal. But eventually, yes, I will lead you out. Because healing is not complete if you remain in the room forever. Let me say this personally. You do not have to keep being the secret keeper of your own pain. You do not have to keep sitting in the dark with thoughts that grow stronger because they never meet the light. You do not have to keep telling yourself that this is just how you are now. It is not. It is how you adapted. It is not who you are. So stand up. Turn toward me. Come out. I want you to understand why this matters so deeply, because what stays hidden too long begins to feel normal, and what feels normal eventually starts making decisions for your life. That inner room has not only held your pain, it has shaped your choices. It has influenced your relationships. It has affected how you hear my voice. It has altered the way you interpret love, correction, opportunity, waiting, and even joy. When a heart spends too long in hiding, it starts treating distance like wisdom. It starts treating emotional caution like discernment. It starts treating mute expectation like maturity. It starts treating private fear like realism. That is why I am calling you out now. Not because I am impatient with your process, but because I love you too much to let a hidden place become a ruling place. Let me show you how subtle this has been. There are moments where someone reaches toward you with kindness, and before you can receive it, something inside you tightens. That room speaks. There are opportunities where you could step forward, but a familiar hesitation rises and tells you to stay small. That room speaks. There are times when I am nudging you toward trust, toward surrender, toward hope, toward boldness, and you feel a quiet resistance that sounds wise but is actually wounded. That room speaks. If you do not recognize it, you will keep assuming that every instinct inside you is truth, when some of those instincts were trained by pain, not formed by my peace. So I need you to start discerning the difference. Do not obey every protective impulse automatically. Cause. Ask me what is speaking. Is it wisdom or is it that old room? Is it discernment or is it fear trying to keep control? Is it healthy caution or is it the hidden place refusing to let light rearrange the furniture? These questions matter. Ask them. Slow down enough to hear the answer. Because healing requires honesty, and honesty requires light. That is why I want you to practice something very specific. When you notice yourself withdrawing inwardly, when you feel the old emotional retreat beginning, when you catch yourself going quiet in that internal way, when you feel the urge to pull away from tenderness, connection, or truth, do not just drift there. Interrupt it. Stop. Breathe. Name it. Say to yourself, I know this room. I do not live here anymore. And turn toward me. Even if it is only a whisper, say, Lord, come into this with me. That simple moment can break patterns that have ruled you for years. It sounds small, but it is powerful because it changes who has access to the room. The room loses power when I am welcomed in. And once I am in, I do not only comfort you there, I begin rearranging what fear has organized. I take down lies hanging on the walls like framed statements. I remove labels you accepted in weak moments. I clear out assumptions that never came from me. I unseal memories that need healing instead of repeated re-injury. I create space for breath, for light, for truth, for stillness that is alive instead of empty. This is restoration at a level deeper than mood. This is restructuring. This is why I am not asking for partial access. I want the whole room. I want the hidden corners. I want the locked drawers. I want the things you feel embarrassed that you still carry. I want the places where you still feel 12 years old emotionally, or the places where you still feel abandoned, or the places where you still feel like you have to prove your worth before you can be loved. Give me access. Invite me fully. Then let me lead you beyond the room itself. Because once the light has entered, I will not leave you standing in the doorway forever. I will take your hand and lead you into open space again. I will teach you how to be present without armor. I will teach you how to stay soft without becoming unsafe. I will teach you how to carry discernment without carrying suspicion. I will teach you how to live from the healed center of my presence instead of the hidden center of old pain. That is where you are going. So obey me here, my child. Come out of the inner room where you have been hiding. Let me in. Let the light move. Let the air change. Let the old room lose its claim over your future. You do not belong to that space anymore. You belong with me in the open. My child, as you step out of that inner room and into my light, do not keep that light to yourself. There are others still sitting in shadows, waiting for a door to open, waiting for truth to reach them where they hide. When you give, you become part of that opening. You help me enter rooms you may never see, but I see them all. I have said, you are the light of the world. Let your light shine before others. And this is one way your light shines beyond your own life. This is not about obligation. This is about participation in what I am doing across hearts and homes. I am calling you, personally, to help carry this message into places still covered in quiet darkness. Do not retreat back into silence when I am inviting you into impact. So into this work through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and let your obedience become someone else's breakthrough. Step forward. Give now. My child, now that I have brought you out of the hidden room and into the light of my presence, I need you to understand something that will shape the way you move from this moment forward. What I am doing in you right now is not just for relief. It is not only for comfort. It is not merely so you can feel a little better tonight and then go back to the same patterns tomorrow. I am restoring something in you that will change the way you walk into every future door. Stay with me here, because this matters more than you know. You have spent a long time assuming that the breakthrough you needed was mostly external. You thought if the right opportunity came, if the right person returned, if the right answer arrived, if the right timing finally unfolded, then everything inside you would settle. But I have been showing you that the deeper work is happening within you first. Not because external things do not matter, but because what enters your life will be experienced through the condition of your heart. The same open door can feel like blessing to a healed soul and pressure to a wounded one. The same opportunity can become a gift in the hands of someone rooted in peace or a burden in the hands of someone still driven by fear. The same relationship can become a place of mutual life when entered with wholeness or a place of anxious grasping when entered from old pain. That is why I have not rushed past this inner work. That is why I have not merely handed you what you wanted without healing how you would carry it. I am restoring the way you walk, the way you discern, the way you receive, the way you trust, the way you respond, the way you interpret what is happening in front of you. And that changes everything. Imagine two people standing before the same beautiful doorway. One is carrying old panic, unresolved shame, deep distrust, and a constant need to prove themselves. The other is carrying humility, peace, discernment, and a secure sense of being loved. They both step through the same door, but they do not enter the same experience. One enters grasping, bracing, performing, fearing, overanalyzing. The other enters present, grounded, honest, open, and able to receive. Do you see what I am telling you? The door matters, yes, but the condition of the person walking through it matters deeply too. That is why what I am restoring in you is so precious. I am not merely opening your future. I am preparing your footsteps. I am not only arranging what is ahead of you, I am reshaping what is within you so that when the next door opens, you do not walk into it dragging the old room, the old panic, the old hidden agreements, the old survival posture, and the old misreadings of pain behind you. I want you to walk differently. I want you to cross thresholds without carrying chains disguised as habits. I want you to recognize what is good without distrusting it by reflex. I want you to handle what is delayed without assuming it means loss. I want you to encounter what is new without automatically comparing it to what once hurt you. That is restoration. That is freedom with structure. That is healing that becomes practical. So hear my command and my invitation together. Stop preparing only for doors. Prepare your heart. Stop praying only for what is next. Let me transform how you will meet what is next. Stop measuring readiness by external signs alone. Ask me to make you internally ready. That is where wisdom lives. That is where peace becomes durable. That is where discernment stops being fear in disguise and becomes clarity rooted in my presence. I want you to do something with this right now. Think about a future door you long for. Maybe it is love. Maybe it is reconciliation. Maybe it is calling. Maybe it is provision. Maybe it is a move, a ministry, a new beginning, a healed relationship, a new season, or a long-awaited answer. Hold that door in your mind. See it. Feel what it represents. Now stop staring only at the door and ask me a better question. Who am I becoming before I walk through it? Ask that. Sit with it. Let it search you. Because the answer to that question is part of the gift. It protects you from rushing. It protects you from romanticizing what is ahead. It protects you from treating the door like a savior. Doors are not saviors. I am. Opportunities are not saviors. I am. People are not saviors. I am. If you remember that, you will enter the future freer. You will enter with open hands instead of clenched ones. You will enter with gratitude instead of desperation. You will enter with peace instead of frantic self-preservation. And that changes the entire experience. There is something else I want you to see, because it will help you trust this process even more. The restoration I am doing in you is not abstract. It will show up in the details of your life. It will show up in the tone of your thoughts when pressure rises. It will show up in the way you respond when plans change. It will show up in the way you handle silence, the way you receive love, the way you set boundaries, the way you discern motives, the way you speak to yourself after mistakes, the way you stay present when something beautiful begins instead of immediately bracing for loss. That last one matters, because one of the clearest signs of deep healing is not that you never feel fear again. It is that fear no longer gets to steer. It is that when something good begins, you do not instantly sabotage it with suspicion. It is that when hope rises, you do not punish yourself for feeling it. It is that when love reaches toward you, you do not instinctively step back just because old pain remembers other stories. This is the kind of restoration that changes futures. Let me give you an image so you can feel this in a way that stays with you. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a wide field at sunrise. Behind you is a house you once lived in, but it was full of boarded windows, dim rooms, and air that never moved. Ahead of you is a path leading through open land toward doors you cannot fully see yet, only the outline of them in the distance. In the old days, you would have stepped onto that path while constantly glancing backward, carrying boxes from the hidden room, keeping one hand on your chest, waiting for the next wound. But now I am walking beside you, and I am not letting you carry what I already told you to surrender. I am not letting you drag the old boards, the old labels, the old conclusions, the old emergency patterns, the old fear agreements, the old definitions of yourself. I am saying, leave them. That is not symbolic only. That is practical. Leave the self-accusation. Leave the need to prove. Leave the reflex to brace before joy. Leave the lie that delay means abandonment. Leave the habit of shrieking when something matters. Leave the inner script that says, do not trust too much, do not hope too much, do not need too much, do not feel too much. Leave it. Set it down. Walk lighter. Walk cleaner. Walk with me. This is not recklessness. This is rightly ordered trust. And when you begin to live this way, the future does not become easy in a shallow sense, but it becomes navigable in a deeper one. You will still need discernment. You will still need wisdom. You will still need boundaries, patience, courage, and prayer. But you will no longer be making every decision from an injured center. That is the difference. You will not be asking every new moment to pay for an old wound. You will not be forcing every future door to carry the weight of every past disappointment. You will not be entering blessing as if it is a threat. You will not be treating goodness like something temporary you should not trust. Instead, you will walk in with a heart that knows where home is. Home is not the door. Home is me. Home is not the outcome. Home is my presence. Home is not whether everything goes smoothly. Home is the steady truth that you are loved, led, guarded, corrected, restored, and never left. When that becomes your inner home, you can walk through any future door without losing yourself. That is what I am restoring in you. So receive it seriously. Do not rush past it. Practice it. Return to it. Before every future decision, ask, am I walking from fear or from peace? Before every new opportunity, ask, am I entering to prove something or to receive what God is giving? Before every relational threshold, ask, am I bringing old suspicion or am I bringing healed discernment? These questions will guard you. They will keep the restoration practical. They will help the inner work become lived reality. And I want you to remember this as we move toward the final part of this journey. The next doors in your life are not meant to expose how wounded you still are. They are meant to reveal how deeply I have restored you. So lift your head. Straighten your posture. Keep your hands open. Keep your heart near me. Because what I am restoring in you right now will change the way you walk into every future door. And that means your future is not only about what opens next, it is about who you will be when it does. My child, now I need you to stay with me for this final moment and receive it as personally as if there were no one else in the world but you and me. Because in this moment, that is how I am speaking. This is not general comfort. This is not a broad message floating through the air for whoever happens to catch it. This has been for you from the beginning. From the very first word, I was not speaking into a crowd. I was reaching into your exact condition, your exact weariness, your exact habits, your exact hidden rooms, your exact misunderstandings, your exact future. And now that I have walked you through the hidden weight, the quiet retreat, the fear disguised as control, the old room you kept returning to, the difference between surviving and living, and the way I am restoring your steps before your next doors open, I need you to hear the deepest truth of all. Do not turn away now, because what I have been saying to you is the beginning of your return. Not just your relief, not just your encouragement, your return. Your return to me in the places where you drifted without realizing it. Your return to the version of yourself that I formed before pain taught you to shrink. Your return to the kind of trust that does not need every answer in advance. Your return to the kind of tenderness that can feel deeply without becoming unsafe. Your return to the kind of peace that is alive, not numb. Your return to the kind of inner honesty that no longer needs the hidden room to survive. This is why I stopped you. This is why I interrupted you. This is why I would not let you scroll past this like it was just another message. I know how easy it would have been for you to dismiss this. I know how quickly you could have moved on. I know how natural it would have felt to say, maybe later, or this is probably not for me, or I do not have time to go this deep right now. But I would not let you go that easily, because I love you too much to let you remain half awake to your own soul. I love you too much to let you keep mistaking your coping patterns for your calling. I love you too much to let your inner life keep living in reduced form while your outer life keeps pretending everything is manageable. So I called you by staying. I called you by naming what no one else fully named. I called you by bringing truth to places where you had grown used to dimness. And now I am asking you for something in return, not performance, not perfection, not a dramatic promise you will later feel ashamed for not sustaining. I am asking for your yes, a real yes, a present tense yes, a simple yes that says, I will not turn away from what God is doing in me. I will not go back to hiding as if this never happened. I will not return to the old agreements. I will not keep calling numbness peace. I will not keep protecting myself from the very healing I have been asking for. I will not keep building my life around pain's interpretation of my story. I will stay. I will listen. I will return. That yes matters more than you understand right now. It is not small. It is not sentimental. It is directional. It turns your heart toward life. It reopens the inner doors you closed in order to survive. It tells heaven you are no longer content with being merely functional. It tells your own soul that the old hiding places are no longer your home. It tells fear that it is losing authority. It tells the future that you are not arriving there as the same person who used to enter every room braced for disappointment. So say yes. Say it inwardly if you must. Whisper it if that is all you can manage. But say it. Say it honestly. Say it even if your voice shakes. Say it even if you are not sure what comes next. I do not need loud certainty from you. I need willing surrender. Come closer now. Let your defenses lower one more time. Let your heart open one more layer. Let me place my hand over the deepest part of you and say what you need to hear as you step into what comes after this moment. You are not going back to who you were before this. You may still have to practice what I have taught you. You may still have to resist old patterns when they try to return. You may still need to choose openness over hiding, surrender over control, trust over suspicion, and life over mere survival. But you are not leaving unchanged. This is not the end of a message. This is the beginning of a return. Mark it. Remember it. Carry it. Come back to it when you feel yourself slipping. And when that happens, do not shame yourself. Just turn again. Return again. Open again. Invite me again. I am not asking you to never wobble. I am asking you to know where to come back when you do. Come back to me. And now, my child, before you move on from this, I want to anchor what I have spoken into something practical, something living, something you can carry beyond the emotion of this moment. Because if this is truly the beginning of your return, then it must become more than a feeling. It must become a way of walking. So listen carefully and receive these final invitations not as a script, but as steps. When you feel yourself drifting back toward the old inner room, do not argue with yourself for half an hour. Stop. Turn. Invite me in immediately. When you feel the urge to grip harder because uncertainty rises, do not call that wisdom too quickly. Open your hands. Ask me what actually belongs in your care and what belongs in mine. When you feel the old numbness tempting you because it seems easier than tenderness, pause before you disappear into it. Breathe. Ask yourself whether you are choosing peace or simply avoiding feeling. When a future door begins to open and your instinct is to brace, do not automatically obey the old fear. Slow down. Let me remind you who you are becoming. Enter with discernment. Yes, but not with inherited panic. When disappointment revisits your memory and tries to tell you that your story is still ruled by loss, do not sit down with that voice as if it is a trusted counselor. Bring that memory into my presence. Ask me to tell you the truth about it again. These are the ways your return becomes real. Not in one grand emotional vow, but in many honest moments where you stop handing the steering wheel back to old pain. This is where your transformation becomes embodied. This is where healing becomes habit. This is where peace becomes practiced instead of admired from a distance. Let me give you one last picture, because I want it to stay with you long after these words are over. Imagine dawn breaking over a landscape that looked dark for so long you almost forgot how morning feels. The horizon is not yet blazing. The sun is not fully overhead. But there is enough light now to tell the difference between night and morning. That is where you are. You may not feel like you are standing in full daylight yet. You may still feel traces of old heaviness. You may still notice familiar fears trying to speak. But the light has changed. That matters. The direction has changed. That matters. The atmosphere has changed. That matters. You are not waiting for sunrise as someone lost in the dark and more. You are standing in the first real light of your return. So do not turn back toward the night just because dawn is still gentle. Stay facing the light. Keep walking toward what is growing brighter. Let your eyes adjust. Let your heart adjust. Let your nervous system adjust. Let your expectations adjust. Do not sabotage the early morning because it does not yet look like noon. Honor the dawn. Protect the dawn. Participate in the dawn. Walk in it. And hear me as clearly as you can now. I am with you in what comes next. I will be with you when the old thought patterns try to return. I will be with you when new doors appear. I will be with you when you are tempted to hide again. I will be with you when you are learning how to stay soft without becoming afraid. I will be with you when peace still feels unfamiliar. I will be with you when you need correction, comfort, courage, discernment, and rest. You do not have to carry the next season by yourself. You do not have to protect your healing alone. You do not have to figure out every step before you take the first one. Stay near me. Return often. Listen closely. Obey quickly. Rest deeply. Receive fully. Walk forward. Let this become the line in your story where you stop turning away from the very love that was trying to restore you. Let this be the moment you remember when future you needs proof that I spoke clearly. Let this be the place you point back to when old patterns try to tell you nothing really changed. Something did change. You heard me. You stayed. You opened. You returned. And because you did, what began here will continue beyond this moment. So go forward now, not as someone trying to recover a lost life, but as someone stepping into the life I have been patiently calling back to the surface all along. Do not turn away. Stay with me. Keep coming closer. What I had to tell you was never meant to end with these words. It was meant to begin in you. My child, now that you have said yes to your return, I am inviting you into something greater than this moment, into partnership with me. What has begun in you is meant to ripple outward, to reach lives that are still waiting for this same awakening. When you give, you are not just supporting a message, you are helping call my children home. I have spoken, bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, and see if I will not open the windows of heaven. And I am speaking that promise over you now as a living invitation. This is a divine moment, not a casual decision. Your response matters in ways you cannot fully measure yet. If you feel the pull, it is me saying, walk with me in this. Support through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, and let your yes become action. Do not turn away now. Complete what I have started in your heart. Give, and step fully into your return. Before you leave, do not stay silent. This moment is too sacred for silence. If this message was truly for you, then comment right now. I will not turn away. Lord, I return to you. Let that be more than words. Let it be your declaration, your surrender, and your turning point. I believe the moment you write it, something inside you will break agreement with fear, hiding, and delay. So comment it now, and seal this moment in faith, because your return has already begun. And as you make that declaration, understand that returning to me is not merely a single moment, it is the beginning of a conversation that your heart has been longing to have. You have spoken your yes, but now I want you to remain still long enough to hear what I have been trying to tell you through the noise, the pressure, and the exhaustion. Do not rush away from this sacred ground. Stay here with me. There are things I see that others do not see, burdens you carry that few people understand, and silent battles you have fought without anyone noticing. I have not overlooked a single tear, a single prayer, or a single weary step. Now that your heart is turned toward me, listen carefully, because what I am about to say is for you personally. My child, do not turn away. I have something crucial to tell you today. I see you. I know you are incredibly tired. You are running through your days, trying to keep up with a world that never stops shouting. Your mind is filled with a deafening noise. I see the heavy pressure at your job resting squarely on your shoulders. I see the unspoken tensions in your family that keep you awake in the dark hours of the night. I see how you feel completely overlooked, as if your hard work and your silent tears mean absolutely nothing to anyone. You feel that tight knot in your stomach right now, do you not? That heavy, anxious feeling is not from me. Let us undo it together. Stop what you are doing. Pause right now. Take a deep, slow breath. Take the kind of deep breath you take right before you face a massive challenge. Close your eyes for just 1 second. Listen closely to me. You have been trying to hear my voice in the middle of a loud, rushing crowd. But my voice is not a frantic shout. My voice is the quiet, heavy pause right before a mighty storm breaks. You must find a moment of stillness to actually receive my word. You cannot hear me if you are constantly moving, constantly scrolling, constantly worrying about tomorrow. I command the noise in your mind to be still. I invite you to step out of the daily chaos. Step into my quiet, comforting space. You might wonder why I am speaking to you at this exact moment. I chose this specific moment because I know you are completely exhausted. You have been trying to fix everything using your own strength. You are carrying a mountain of fear about your future. I stepped in today because you secretly asked, in the quiet of your own heart, if anyone truly sees your struggle. I see it. I see every single detail of your life. I have perfectly timed this conversation to pull you back from the edge of burnout. I am here to offer you silent, steady strength. Come to me. Feel the warmth of my embrace waiting for you. Imagine you are walking out of a freezing, bitter wind and stepping into a warm, brightly lit room. That is exactly what my presence feels like. You have been out in the cold for far too long. You are trying to find peace in a world that only sells panic. I offer you a true peace that changes everything. Return to me. I am your safe place. I am your true home. My love for you is deep, wide, and entirely real. I do not look at your mistakes. I look at your beautiful heart. Drop the heavy chains of your daily distractions. You are tied down by endless tasks, by the cycle of bad news, by the fear of what others think. These things drain your spirit. I pull your eyes away from my face. I declare those chains broken today. I give you the power to disconnect from the world's panic. Turn away from the empty screens and the hollow promises of this earth. Sit down at my feet. Rest here with me today. You do not need to perform. You do not need to impress me. You only need to be fully present. Surrender your exhaustion to me. Hand over your tight schedule and your endless worries. Listen to my heartbeat. You are deeply loved. You are perfectly known. You are entirely safe right here. Stay with me a little longer. I see the heavy load you carry in secret. You think you are hiding it well, but I see it all. I see you smiling at your family, nodding at your coworkers, and telling your friends that you are doing fine. But inside, you are carrying a massive, invisible weight. It feels like a heavy backpack filled with rocks, pulling down your shoulders and making every single step feel like a monumental effort. I see the pressure at your job. I see how the expectations keep mounting, how the emails never stop, and how you fear that one small mistake will bring everything crashing down. I see the unspoken tensions in your family that you try to manage and smooth over. You are absorbing everyone else's stress, acting as the peacemaker, but you have no peace left for yourself. I know how exhausted you are. You wake up tired. You go to sleep tired. This is not the life I intended for you. You were never meant to walk this road completely alone. You were never meant to carry the weight of the world on your fragile human shoulders. I did not design you to be the savior of your own life, nor the savior of your family's problems. The deep exhaustion you feel in your bones right now is the direct result of trying to do my job. You are trying to force doors open that I have closed. You are trying to predict a future that has not even happened yet. I invite you to stop. Stop striving. Stop trying to control every outcome. Surrender the why and the how to my infinite wisdom. You do not need to know how the story ends, because I am the author, and I hold the pen. I know exactly how to provide for you. I know exactly how to guide you through this current storm. Lay down the masks you wear for the world. You wear the mask of the strong parent, the reliable worker, the friend who always has it together. You wear these masks because you are afraid that if people saw how tired and broken you truly feel, they would turn away. But I do not turn away. I ask you to take off that mask right now. You do not need to perform for me. You do not need to pretend you are strong when you are falling apart. I invite your tears. I invite your frustration. I invite your honest, raw weariness. Give it all to me. Find deep relief in my infinite strength. When you reach the absolute end of your own power, that is exactly where my power begins. I command you to release the grip you have on your problems. Open your tightly clenched fists. Hand those heavy burdens over to me. You are trying to survive on a tiny drop of your own energy, while I am offering you an endless ocean of my divine strength. Lean back into my arms. Let me carry the weight of your career, the weight of your family, and the weight of your future. I am big enough to handle it all. Breathe out your stress, and breathe in my powerful, sustaining peace. You are safe, and I have you securely in my grip. You need to hear the absolute truth about your worth today. The world has lied to you for far too long, and you have started to believe those lies. The world tells you that your value is based on how much money you make, how many tasks you complete, or how much praise you receive from others. The world makes you feel easily replaced, like a small, insignificant part of a massive machine. I command you to reject those lies right now. Look at me. Listen to my voice. You are carved into the very palms of my hands. My love for you is not temporary, and it is not based on your performance. You are my deeply cherished creation. I formed you, I know you, and I value you beyond any human measure. Stop believing the silent whisper that says you are unlovable or broken beyond repair. You hear that whisper when you look in the mirror. You hear it when you make a mistake at work, or when you lose your patience with your children. You immediately think, I am a failure. I am not enough. I declare to you today, you are more than enough. Your value is completely determined by my sacrifice, not by your success. I gave everything to call you my own, but I pay such a high price for something worthless. Oh, you are a treasure to me. You are worth everything. I do not value you because of what you can do for me. I value you simply because you are mine. I want you to see yourself strictly through the lens of my grace. Grace means you do not have to earn my love. You cannot buy it with good behavior, and you cannot lose it through your daily mistakes. When I look at you, I do not see a list of failures. I see my precious child. I see a heart that is trying. I see a spirit that wants to do what is right. I place a crown of glory and honor upon your head. Do not pull that crown off and throw it in the dirt. Wary. Walk with the confidence of someone who belongs to the King of the universe. Hold your head high, not with human pride, but with the quiet, unshakable confidence of divine royalty. You have the undeniable seal of my spirit living inside of you. You are not empty. You are not alone. My spirit marks you as my permanent possession. No boss, no critic, and no past mistake can ever remove that seal. I invite you to step into this identity today. Stop apologizing for taking up space in this world. Stop shrinking back to make others comfortable. I have placed greatness inside of you. I command you to stand up tall. Accept the immense love I am pouring over you right now. You are deeply loved, highly favored, and chosen for such a time as this. Never let anyone, not even your own mind, tell you otherwise. I see the fear that grips your heart. I see how you tremble at the shadows of what might happen tomorrow. Your mind races late at night with 1,000 terrible what-ifs. What if the money runs out? What if your health fails? What if you cannot protect your children from the harshness of this world? These fears wrap around your chest, making it hard to breathe. I am speaking directly to that tight, anxious knot inside of you. I command the spirit of fear to release its hold on your life right now. You need not tremble at the shadows, because I am the light that shatters the darkness. A shadow has no real substance. It is only an illusion. Do not let illusions steal your joy and drain your energy. My perfect love casts out every single lingering doubt. Fear cannot survive in the presence of my overwhelming love. When you truly understand how fiercely and deeply I love you, fear loses all of its power. If the creator of the stars and the oceans is fighting for you, what is there to be afraid of? I am offering you a peace that entirely transcends human understanding. This is not the temporary calm that comes when everything in life goes perfectly. That kind of peace is fragile and easily broken. The peace I give you stands firm in the middle of a raging storm. You can have chaos at your job, tension in your home, and uncertainty in your bank account, yet still feel a deep, steady calm anchored in your soul. That is my gift to you. Receive it now. I am your solid shield and your mighty fortress in the storm. When the harsh winds of life blow against you, hide in me. You do not have to fight every battle on your own. You do not have to stand unprotected in the freezing rain. Let my promises be the walls that keep you safe. Let my truth be the roof over your head. When you are walking through the darkest valley, when the path ahead is entirely hidden and you do not know which way to turn, remember that you are walking with the great shepherd. I know the way. I can see in the dark. You only need to stay close to me. Hold on to my hand and take just the next step. I invite you to boldly claim the spirit of power, love, and a sound mind. I did not give you a spirit of timidity or cowardice. I gave you a mind that can think clearly, a heart that can love deeply, and a spirit that can stand strongly. When panic tries to rise up in your throat, speak my truth out loud. Say, I am not afraid because my God is with me. Command your racing thoughts to slow down. Command your anxious heart to be still. You have my authority to evict fear from your mind. Step out of the shadows today. Walk fully in the bright, warm light of my courage. I am with you, and together we will face whatever tomorrow brings. Your past is completely buried in the deepest depths of the sea. I want you to truly hear this and let it sink into your weary soul. You spend so much time replaying your old mistakes. Like a broken record, your mind loops the moments where you failed, where you hurt someone, or where you took the wrong path. You carry this heavy guilt like a chain around your ankles, dragging it into every new day. I command you to drop that chain right now. The cleansing power of my sacrifice has washed you completely clean. When I look at your past, I do not see your sins. I see the pure, perfect slate that I have created for you. I do not hold your mistakes against you. So why do you continue to hold them against yourself? Stop this endless cycle of self-condemnation. It is a cruel trap that keeps you stuck. The enemy loves to remind you of your past to keep you from stepping into your future. But I call you forward. I invite you to experience the true freedom found in a clean heart and a renewed spirit. Imagine taking off a set of filthy, heavy clothes and stepping into a warm, cleansing shower. That is what my forgiveness does for your soul. It washes away the dirt, the shame, and the deep regrets. You are allowed to start fresh. You are allowed to breathe easily again. My mercy is not a limited supply that runs out when you make too many mistakes. My mercy is brand new every single morning. When the sun rises, my grace rises with it, ready to cover your day. But there is another step to this freedom, my child. Just as I have entirely released you from your debts, you must also release others. I see the bitterness you hold toward those who have wronged you. I see the unfairness of what they did. They hurt you deeply. They overlooked you, and they betrayed your trust. You hold on to your anger because it feels like a shield, but it is actually a poison. It is drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I command you to let it go. Not because what they did was right, but because you deserve to be free. Forgiving them does not mean trusting them again blindly. It simply means taking your hands off their throat and placing the situation into my hands. I am the true judge. I will handle justice. Your job is to heal. I invite you to drop the heavy stone of resentment you have been carrying in your pocket. It is weighing you down. Open your hands. Give me your pain, give me your anger, and give me your deep disappointment. Let my radical forgiveness flow into your heart, and then let it flow out toward others. When you forgive, you break the power that person has over your mind. Step into the bright, clear air of total forgiveness today. Live as someone who is fully forgiven and totally free. Do not turn away now, my child, as you step out of the heavy chains of your past and into profound, absolute freedom. I am actively calling you to partner with me to bring this exact, massive liberation to other exhausted souls across the world. Your generous seed is a blazing torch of light, breaking fiercely through the suffocating darkness of those still trapped in deep bitterness and pain. When you support this mission, you are directly rescuing broken hearts from the toxic prisons of unforgiveness and introducing them to my grace. As my word declares directly over you, give, and it will absolutely be given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running completely over into your lap. I will fiercely multiply your finances, completely protect your household, and shower you with unshakable, supernatural favor. This is a divine, urgent appointment to expand my kingdom right this very second, not a casual request. Use the super thanks, become a channel member, or click the PayPal link in the description to powerfully sow your seed today. My child, do not silence my voice now. We have only just begun to wash away the heavy chains of your past. It deeply grieves my heart when you walk away just as the true healing begins. You have cried out for answers, and I am actively speaking them to you. If you stop listening now, you will entirely miss the profound purpose I have birthed from your deepest pain. Do not disappoint the love that is fighting for you. Stay with me. Listen closely. Your greatest breakthrough is coming in the very next breath. Nothing you have suffered is ever wasted in my kingdom. I know it does not feel that way right now. When you look at your broken dreams, your lost opportunities, and the deep aches in your heart, it just looks like a pile of useless ashes. You ask me, why did this happen? Why did I have to go through this pain? I hear your desperate questions. I see the tears you cry in the shower where no one else can hear you. I want to assure you with absolute certainty, I did not design your pain to destroy you. I am using it to build you. I am the master builder, the great architect of your life. Even when a storm knocks down the walls you built, I am using the broken pieces to lay a much stronger foundation for your future. I am actively refining you, just like a goldsmith refines gold in a blazing fire. The fire is incredibly hot, and it is terribly uncomfortable. The heat of your current trials, the struggles at work, the relational conflicts, the financial squeeze, feels like it is burning you alive. But trust me in the fire. The flames are only burning away the impurities. They are burning away your pride, your false dependencies, and your fear. What will remain is a pure, strong, unshakable character. You are developing a resilience that cannot be bought with money or learned in a book. The strength you are building through this heavy season of endurance will serve you for the rest of your life. You will walk into future rooms with a quiet power that only comes from surviving the fire. I promise you that stunning beauty will rise directly from the ashes of your deepest disappointments. Where you see a dead end, I see a brand new beginning. The very things that broke your heart will be the exact tools I use to expand your heart. Your fresh, painful wounds are slowly healing, and they will become powerful scars. A wound is a place of active pain. A scar is a permanent mark of a battle you survived. Your scars are not ugly to me. They are beautiful. They will become a living testimony to others. One day, you will look at someone going through the exact same nightmare you are in right now, and you will show them your scars. You will say, I survived this, and because God was with me, you will survive it too. I invite you to trust the architect, even when the blueprint is completely hidden from your eyes. You cannot see the full picture from where you are standing. You only see the messy construction zone. I see the finished, glorious mansion. I command you to stop viewing your current struggle as a pointless punishment. Look at it as intense preparation. I am preparing you for a weight of blessing that your old self could not have handled. Do not give up now. Do not quit right in the middle of the process. Stand firm, hold my hand, and let me finish the good work I have started in you. The end of this story is more beautiful than you can possibly imagine. I see the slow, quiet drift that is pulling you away from me. You did not wake up one morning and decide to abandon your faith. It never happens like that. The drift happens in the tiny, unseen choices of your daily routine. You miss a moment of quiet prayer because your alarm goes off late and you are rushing to the office. You lean heavily into your work, trying to find your worth in the praise of your manager. You seek comfort in the mindless scrolling on your glowing screen, hoping to numb the exhaustion in your mind. I watch this subtle drift, and it grieves my heart. I watch you pulling away from the safest place in the universe. I command you to stop drifting. Open your eyes and recognize the current that is pulling you out into deep, dangerous waters. You are moving towards spiritual isolation, and you do not even realize how far from the shore you have gone. You are desperately trying to draw water from broken cisterns. You pour your energy into your career, hoping the next promotion or the next paycheck will finally make you feel secure. You pour your heart into flawed relationships, hoping another human being can fix the deep ache inside your chest. You look for validation in the empty applause of social media. I am telling you the absolute truth today. Those wells are poisoned, and they are cracked. They leak. They will leave you more thirsty, more exhausted, and more empty than when you started. Why do you spend your precious energy on things that do not satisfy your soul? I invite you to drop your bucket into the deep living waters of my presence. I am the only source that will never run dry. When you drink from my spirit, your constant, anxious craving will finally cease. Recognize the brutal tactics of the enemy who wants to destroy your peace. He does not usually attack you with massive, terrifying events. He attacks you by making you busy. He convinces you that you are entirely too tired to sit with me. He whispers toxic lies into your ear, telling you that your mistakes have disqualified you from my love. He isolates you in your own living room, making you feel completely alone even when you are surrounded by people. I command you to reject those dark whispers. Refuse to believe the lie that you have gone too far to turn back. I am standing right here, watching the road, waiting eagerly for your return. The sorrow I feel when you wander is not the angry disappointment of a harsh boss. It is the deep, agonizing heartbreak of a loving father who watches his child walk barefoot through a field of broken glass. The world will continuously make you massive promises that ring entirely hollow. The world promises you happiness if you just buy the right things, look a certain way, or climb to the top of your field. It is a relentless, exhausting treadmill that goes nowhere. You run until your lungs burn, and you still feel empty. I invite you to step off that toxic treadmill today. Turn your back on the hollow demands of a culture that does not care about your soul. Step into the unshakable safety of my divine will. My will is not a restrictive prison meant to ruin your fun. My will is a massive, heavily fortified castle built to protect your heart from predators. I command you to come inside. Let me protect your mind. Let me restore the joy that the world has slowly drained out of you. I know exactly how much you panic about tomorrow. You look at your shrinking bank account, you stare at your crowded calendar, and you feel a wave of sheer terror wash over you. You are trying to figure out how you will survive the next month, let alone the next 10 years. I command you to release your grip on the future. You are trying to steer a ship in a blinding hurricane, acting as if you are the master of the ocean. You are not the master, I am. I knew your exact ending before your story even had a beginning. Nothing that happens in your life takes me by surprise. I do not pace the floors of heaven worrying about your next step. I have a masterful, brilliant plan securely in place. I invite you to rest in the solid, unshakable knowledge that I am in total control. Stop exhausting yourself by trying to force doors to open. You cried bitter tears over that job opportunity you did not get. You spent sleepless nights mourning the relationship that suddenly fell apart. You felt utterly rejected and deeply abandoned. I am speaking directly to that specific pain right now. I closed those doors to protect your soul. You only saw the shiny exterior of the opportunity. I saw the hidden traps, the toxic environment, and the ultimate destruction waiting on the other side. Every single door I close in your life is an act of my fierce, protective love. I command you to stop banging your fists against locked doors. Trust that my no is just as loving as my yes. Walk away from what I have shut, and do not look back with regret. Prepare yourself for the paths I am about to open. When the timing is perfectly aligned with my divine design, I will swing open doors that no human being can possibly shut. I will create a clear path right through the middle of your impossible wilderness. These paths will not lead to your temporary comfort. They will lead to my magnificent glory and your profound, lasting joy. I do not do things halfway. When I move in your life, the results will absolutely shatter your expectations. I invite you to walk confidently on the road I am laying out before you. Do not let fear stop you when I tell you to step forward. My presence will walk ahead of you, clearing the obstacles and silencing the opposition. Your days are permanently written in my grand book of life. You are not wandering aimlessly through a random, chaotic universe. Every single detail of your life is intricately woven into a majestic tapestry. I command you to trust my timing over your own desperate urgency. You want the breakthrough right now, in this exact second. But if I gave it to you today, you would not be strong enough to carry the weight of the blessing. I am using the painful waiting period to build your spiritual muscles. I am stretching your faith so that you can hold the massive provision I am preparing to drop into your hands. Breathe deeply. Rest right here in the present moment. I hold your entire future, and it is dazzlingly bright. You constantly overcomplicate what it means to follow me. You think you need to understand deep theological mysteries or perform massive, heroic acts to earn my favor. You look at the grand stories of faith and think your daily life is entirely too ordinary to matter. I command you to change your perspective right now. I am not asking you for a dramatic, theatrical performance. I am asking you for the simple, quiet power of radical obedience. I am asking for a clear, unwavering yes to my spirit in the hidden moments of your everyday routine. The most powerful blessings in your life will flow directly from your willingness to obey my voice when no one else is watching. Do not underestimate the explosive power of small acts of faith. You think your actions do not make a difference. I am telling you that every time you choose to forgive a coworker who insulted you, you are shifting the spiritual atmosphere. Every time you give a small portion of your money when you barely have enough for yourself, you are launching a powerful weapon against the spirit of greed. Every time you bite your tongue instead of speaking a harsh word to your family, you are planting a seed of deep peace. I invite you to focus on these tiny, crucial moments. Small stones thrown into a quiet pond create massive ripples that touch the farthest shores. Your daily obedience is writing a magnificent story of redemption. I demand that you walk by faith and not by your physical sight. You want me to hand you a fully illuminated map of your entire future. You want guarantees before you take a single risk. That is not how my kingdom operates. I will give you a flashlight that provides just enough light for your very next step. You must lift your foot in the dark and trust that I will place solid ground beneath it. I command you to step out of your comfortable boat. You cannot walk on water if you refuse to leave the safety of the deck. Yes, the waves are terrifying. Yes, the wind is loud. But keep your eyes locked entirely on my face. If you look at the storm, you will sink. Look at me, and you will do the impossible. Find absolute protection in following my clear commandments. The world tells you that my rules are outdated chains meant to steal your joy and limit your freedom. That is a toxic, destructive lie. My commandments are sturdy guardrails on a treacherous mountain road. They are positioned there to keep your life from plunging off the cliff into addiction, heartbreak, and despair. When I tell you to flee from certain behaviors, it is because I see the deadly venom hiding inside of them. I invite you to align your physical heartbeat with my divine rhythm. When you obey me consistently, your desires will begin to shift. You will naturally start to love the things I love, and you will organically hate the things that destroy the human soul. Step into the immense joy of being a surrendered instrument in my hands. I see you walking through a brutal, exhausting desert right now. Your spiritual landscape feels incredibly dry. Your energy is entirely depleted. Your bank accounts are frighteningly low, and your emotional reserves are completely tapped out. You feel like you are wandering in circles, entirely forgotten by heaven. You look up at the brass sky and wonder if I have turned my back on your suffering. I declare to you today, I have never left you, and I am the God of the wilderness. I do not only exist in the fertile valleys, I rule over the scorching sands. I invite you to stop staring at the dry dirt beneath your feet. Look up. I am about to drop daily manna directly into your hungry hands. Do not worry about gathering enough supplies for next year, or even next month. Your extreme anxiety about the future is suffocating your ability to live today. I command you to focus only on today's provision. I will give you the exact amount of emotional strength, mental clarity, and physical resources you need to survive the next 24 hours. If you try to hoard my grace for tomorrow, it will rot. You must depend on me fresh every single morning. Wake up and collect the manna I have laid out for you. It might not look like a massive banquet. It might simply look like a kind text from a friend, a moment of sudden peace in traffic, or just enough money to pay the critical bill. Receive it with profound gratitude. I possess the supernatural power to bring rushing water out of a solid rock. I can bring massive resources into your life from places that seem entirely dead and impossible. You are calculating your income based on a human spreadsheet, trying to figure out how the math will work. I am not limited by human math or earthly economies. I command you to expect the unexpected. I will open doors of favor that defy all logic. I invite you to develop a deep, unshakable heart of gratitude precisely in the middle of your lack. Do not wait until the bank account is full to sing my praises. Thank me loudly while the refrigerator is empty. Praise is the heavy key that unlocks the storehouses of heaven. Bring me your tiny loaves and your meager fishes. Bring me your exhausted mind, your fractured focus, and your small budget. Do not hide what you have just because it feels inadequate. Place your limited resources into my massive, capable hands. Watch me bless it, break it, and multiply it beyond your wildest comprehension. I'm jesussays. I am your fierce, reliable provider. Stop looking to your boss, your government, or your spouse to supply your deepest needs. They are flawed humans. They will eventually fail you. Look entirely and exclusively to me. I supply all your needs according to my glorious riches, not according to the limitations of this world. Rest securely in my relentless provision today. I have promised you massive, unexpected provision in your dry wilderness, so do not turn away from this divine moment of explosive multiplication. I passionately invite you to join my sovereign hand in actively feeding the spiritually starving people of this chaotic, broken world. The physical seed you plant today will fall into incredibly fertile soil, producing a massive, unstoppable harvest of heavenly manna for those desperate for truth. Your radical giving actively sustains the lost, carrying the absolute, life-saving truth of my word directly into their deepest, darkest deserts. Remember my unshakable promise. I, who supply seed to the sower, will absolutely multiply your seed and vastly increase the rich harvest of your righteousness. I will aggressively open the heavy windows of heaven, pouring out a massive financial blessing that your earthly bank account cannot even contain. Do not wait for a perfect tomorrow. Your bold obedience today is the exact key to someone else's immediate spiritual survival. Plant your powerful seed right now through a super thanks, a channel membership, or the PayPal link hidden directly in the description below. Beloved, I am actively pouring living water into your barren, exhausting desert right now. Do not look away from me. It absolutely shatters my heart when you turn a deaf ear to the exact miracles you have been desperately begging for. To close this message now is to walk away from the massive provision I have prepared for your tomorrow. Keep your eyes locked entirely on mine. Honor my heart by staying fully present. Lean in closer, because I am not finished speaking life into your weary soul. I am calling you to return to the place of your first love. You remember what it used to be like. You remember the raw, burning passion you felt when you first encountered my grace. You used to seek my face before your feet even hit the floor in the morning. But slowly, over time, the altar of your heart has fallen into deep disrepair. The stones are scattered, The fire has gone completely out, replaced by the cold, gray ashes of a busy, distracted life. I command you to rebuild that altar today. Stop putting me at the very bottom of your daily to-do list. I am not an optional accessory to your life. I am the oxygen in your lungs. I invite you to clear away the debris of your chaotic schedule and make a dedicated space for me again. You must aggressively tear down the modern idols you have erected in my place. You do not bow down to statues of gold, but you worship the idols of comfort, human approval, and endless entertainment. You give your absolute best time and your sharpest focus to glowing screens, toxic arguments, and the pursuit of status. These idols are stealing your spiritual vitality. I command you to smash them. Remove the things that are constantly competing for your attention. Turn off the notifications. Step away from the toxic relationships that draw you into gossip and negativity. Reclaim your time and offer it back to the Creator who gave it to you. I invite you to bring me your heartfelt, unfiltered prayers. I do not want your polite, religious formulas. I do not want the perfectly crafted sentences you think you are supposed to say. I want the messy, bleeding reality of your life. If you are furiously angry, tell me. If you are paralyzed by doubt, confess it. I am big enough to handle your intense frustration. Speak to me with the blunt honesty of a child sitting on their father's lap. The power of sincere prayer will violently shake the foundations of hell. When you pray with raw authenticity, you invite my explosive power directly into the center of your weakness. Use your worship as a lethal weapon against the encroaching darkness. When the atmosphere in your home feels incredibly heavy, when arguments break out over nothing, and when depression tries to pin you to the bed, I command you to open your mouth and sing. You do not need a perfect voice. You need a defiant spirit. Praise violently shifts the spiritual atmosphere. It drives demons out of your living room. Rebuild your spiritual foundation squarely on the rock of my eternal word. Do not build your identity on the shifting, unreliable sand of cultural opinions or economic stability. Seek my face far more than you seek my hand. Do not just come to me looking for favors and miracles. Come to me simply because you desperately want to be in my presence. Rest here, and let me restore your shattered soul. I see you running. You are running away because you think your latest mistake has finally disqualified you from my grace. You feel that deep, sinking shame in your chest, telling you that I am finally tired of your repeated failures. You look at your broken promises, your lost temper with your children, and your hidden habits, and you assume my patience has completely run out. I command you to stop running right now. Turn around and look directly at me. I am right behind you, pursuing you with an unrelenting, fierce affection. My love for you is not a fragile, temporary feeling that changes with your daily behavior. My love is a solid, unbreakable covenant. I love you when you are standing strong on the mountaintop, and I love you exactly the same when you are lying completely broken on the floor of your bedroom. You simply cannot comprehend the absolute height, depth, and breadth of my affection for you. You measure love by human standards, where love is earned by good behavior, perfect performance, and quickly lost through mistakes or misunderstandings. I do not operate on human standards. Your failures, your bad habits, and your secret anxieties cannot break the massive, ironclad bond I have established with you. I am a father waiting eagerly on the porch for his prodigal child to come home. I see you dragging your heavy feet, silently rehearsing your apologies, and wondering if I will even let you through the front door. I invite you to drop those rehearsed apologies. I am already running down the driveway to embrace you, to cover your shame, and to restore your dignity. Never believe the toxic, paralyzing lie that I will abandon you when things get difficult. I have promised to never leave you, nor forsake you, and I absolutely do not break my promises. Human friends may walk away when you are no longer fun or convenient. Family members may distance themselves when your struggles become entirely too heavy for them to carry. I am not like them. I step closer to you when the rest of the world steps back. I am the heavy, unshakable anchor that holds your fragile boat steady in a Category 5 hurricane. When the loud winds of anxiety howl through your mind, and the dark waves of depression threaten to pull you completely under, I am holding you incredibly tight. I will not let you drown. Step into your true identity today. Stop living like a terrified, forgotten orphan who has to beg the world for tiny scraps of affection and validation. You are a fiercely beloved child of the Most High King. I command you to walk into your day with the quiet, powerful confidence of someone who is fully backed by the Creator of the entire universe. When the enemy whispers that you are worthless, overlooked, and easily replaced, remind him whose family you actually belong to. Receive my overwhelming, unconditional love right now. Let it wash entirely over your tired mind. Let it heal the deep, stinging wounds of human rejection you carry. You are mine. You have always been mine, and I will never, ever let you go. Breathe in this massive truth, and let it completely transform the way you live every single day. I see how deeply confused you are about the next step you need to take. You are standing at a major crossroad in your life, desperately trying to figure out which way to go. You have career decisions to make, family issues to navigate, and financial problems that require immediate solutions. You are listening to 100 different voices. You hear the loud opinions of your coworkers, the constant chatter of the news, and the endless advice from your glowing screens. I command you to silence all that external noise. You cannot hear my clear direction while you are surrounded by the deafening roar of the world's panic. I invite you to learn how to discern my specific voice. My voice will never contradict my written word, and my voice will always bring a deep, settling peace, even if the instruction I give you is difficult. Open my word and let it serve as a brilliant light for your path. You want me to show you the entire map of your next 10 years. You want a massive guarantee that you will not fail before you make a single move. I do not give out 10-year maps. I give you a lantern that illuminates exactly one step at a time. I command you to take that single step in faith. When you walk in my light, you will not stumble in the dark. Do not rely on your own limited human understanding. You only see a tiny, restricted fraction of the reality around you. I see the beginning, the middle, and the end of all things. Trust that my perspective is infinitely higher and vastly clearer than yours. I invite you to choose the narrow gate that leads directly to life. The world will constantly pressure you to take the wide, easy, heavily populated road. That wide road is paved with quick shortcuts, ethical compromises, and the endless pursuit of personal comfort. The crowd is moving fast, and they look like they are winning the race. But I warn you, that wide road leads straight to spiritual emptiness and sudden destruction. Choose the narrow path. It is harder. It requires intense discipline, sacrifice, and deep integrity when no one is watching you. But I promise you, the narrow path is the only road that leads to true, lasting joy. I will walk every single inch of that difficult, rocky road right beside you. You must develop sharp spiritual discernment for the chaotic days you are living in. Do not believe everything you hear. The enemy is a masterful liar, wrapping toxic poison in beautiful, convincing packages. Seek my kingdom first, above all earthly gain. If you aggressively chase money, status, and human approval, you will always be empty and hungry. If you chase my presence and my righteousness, I will personally ensure that all your physical and emotional needs are completely met. The wisdom of this world is absolute foolishness to me. The world says to hoard your money, step on others to get ahead, and rely only on yourself. I say to give generously, serve the broken, and rely entirely on me. I command you to reject the world's foolishness. Embrace my divine wisdom today. Let my truth guide your decisions, protect your mind, and secure your future. I see the deep, hidden wounds that you cover up with a forced smile every single day. You carry emotional trauma that no one else knows about. You remember the sharp, cutting words spoken over you by someone who was supposed to protect you. You feel the deep, lingering sting of betrayal from a friend you trusted with your life. You carry the heavy, suffocating grief of a loss that shattered your world into a million pieces. You have tried to bury these painful memories, hoping that the passing of time would eventually heal them. But time alone does not heal deep wounds. It only covers them with a thin, fragile layer of scar tissue. I command you to stop hiding your intense pain from me. I am the great physician, and I am here to perform deep, restorative surgery on your broken heart. I invite you to let me touch the exact places where it hurts the most. You flinch and pull away when I get close to those memories because you are terrified of feeling that agonizing pain all over again. You have built a massive, impenetrable stone wall around your heart to protect yourself from ever being hurt like that again. I command you to lower that wall right now. You do not need a defensive wall when you have a fierce, protective Father. Bring me your raw, bleeding emotional wounds. Bring me the terrifying trauma that keeps you awake at 2 a.m. Bring me the secret shame you cannot bring yourself to tell anyone else. I have incredibly gentle hands. I will carefully bind up your broken heart and apply the soothing balm of my perfect love to your deepest, oldest injuries. You must let go of the heavy, toxic bitterness you are tightly holding onto. You feel completely justified in your anger, and I know exactly how unfairly you were treated. But holding on to that intense bitterness is destroying you from the inside out. It is actively poisoning your current relationships and choking the joy out of your daily life. I invite you to release those people who hurt you directly into my capable hands. Forgiveness is not saying what they did was okay, and it is not an excuse for their behavior. Forgiveness is simply opening your own prison door and walking out into the bright sunlight. I command you to surrender your right to get revenge. Let me be your fierce defender. Let me completely balance the scales of justice while you focus entirely on your own healing. I am offering you true wholeness that starts from the deep inside and works its way out. You have spent years trying to fix your external circumstances, thinking that a better job, a bigger house, or a new relationship would finally make you feel whole and secure. But external bandages cannot fix internal bleeding. I want to perform a stunning miracle in your mind today. I command the dark, heavy clouds of depression and the frantic, spinning storms of anxiety to dissipate immediately. I am restoring your mind to a place of perfect, unshakable peace. Walk into the beautiful reality of a healed, restored, and profoundly joyful mind. You do not have to live as a helpless victim of your past trauma anymore. You are a completely renewed creation, entirely healed by my powerful hand. I see how intensely you are fighting battles on every single front of your life. Your home feels like a draining war zone of constant arguments and heavy tension. Your workplace is filled with toxic competition and endless conflict. Your own mind feels like a chaotic, bloody battlefield where fear and doubt shoot arrows at you all day long. You're fighting these massive battles using your own human logic, your own harsh words, and your own extremely limited energy. I command you to stop fighting the wrong enemy with the wrong weapons. You must understand today that your battle is absolutely not against flesh and blood. Your annoying coworker, your difficult spouse, and your rebellious child are not the real enemy. There is a dark, unseen spiritual force actively trying to destroy your peace, steal your joy, and tear your family entirely apart. I invite you to put on the full, impenetrable armor I have already provided for you. You are walking onto a live, dangerous battlefield wearing nothing but the fragile clothes of your own good intentions. That is exactly why you feel so incredibly defeated and thoroughly exhausted. I command you to gear up. Put on the heavy belt of absolute truth to hold your life together when toxic lies try to dismantle you. Wear the solid breastplate of my righteousness to protect your fragile heart from the deep, lethal wounds of rejection and guilt. Guard your mind with the thick, protective helmet of your salvation, so that the anxious thoughts of the enemy cannot penetrate your thinking. You are a highly valued soldier in my kingdom, and I have equipped you to be completely victorious. You must start using the sword of the Spirit, which is my spoken word, with absolute, unflinching authority. When panic strikes your chest in the middle of the night, do not just lie there and accept it as your reality. Open your mouth and speak my promises loudly into the dark room. When financial disaster looms over your household, speak my miraculous provision into the atmosphere. The enemy is absolutely terrified of a believer who actually knows how to wield my word. I command you to stand completely firm when the fiery, destructive arrows of the enemy fly toward you. Do not retreat. Do not surrender an inch of your ground. Raise your massive shield of faith and watch those destructive arrows extinguish the very second they hit it. The ultimate victory has already been permanently won at the cross. You are not desperately fighting for a victory. You are fighting from a place of established, guaranteed victory. The enemy is a defeated, toothless lion trying to scare you with a very loud roar. I invite you to exercise the divine authority I have placed directly inside of you. I command you to declare peace over the intense chaos in your home right now. Rebuke the heavy spirits of division, anger, and sickness that have tried to invade your sacred space. Take back the precious ground the enemy has stolen from your family, your finances, and your physical health. Stand up straight, square your shoulders, and walk with the fierce, undeniable confidence of a kingdom warrior. I am the Lord of heaven's armies, and I am fighting directly beside you. You are fully armored and completely victorious, my fierce warrior, so do not turn away when I urgently ask you to fund the front lines of this massive battle. I am specifically raising you up right now to supply the lethal weapons of truth for this unprecedented global spiritual warfare. Your financial support is the roaring fire that forges the sword of the Spirit, violently cutting through the toxic lies holding millions of my children captive. Every single gift you send actively demolishes dark strongholds, rescuing desperate families from the crushing, suffocating grip of the enemy. I declare over your life today, absolutely no weapon forged against your finances will ever prosper, and your generous soul will be made incredibly rich. I will fiercely guard your wealth, aggressively defend your home from all chaos, and return your faithful seed with an explosive, miraculous increase. The battle for souls is raging fiercely right this second, and your immediate action is a massive, divine strike against the darkness. Step fully into your ultimate authority and give your vital support today via Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link located directly in the description. My warrior, do not lay down your shield, and do not walk away from this encounter. We are actively pushing back the dark, toxic forces that have terrorized your home. It brings immense sorrow to my spirit when you retreat from the battlefield just seconds before your ultimate victory is permanently secured. I need you to hear exactly what comes next. Do not disappoint the heaven that is fiercely fighting for you today. Stay anchored right here. The chains are breaking, so do not leave the room. I see your deep frustration when you look at your life and feel like you are not producing enough tangible results. You measure your entire success by strict human metrics. How much money is sitting in the bank, how many major goals you have checked off, and how fast you are moving up the corporate ladder. You feel like you are rapidly falling behind everyone else, and it fills you with a heavy, anxious dread. I command you to completely change the way you measure your personal growth. I do not look at your bank account to see if you are succeeding. I look deeply at your internal character. I look to see if you are bearing the true, lasting fruit of my Spirit. Are you more patient today than you were last year? Are you actually kinder to the people who irritate you? Do you possess a steady peace when your circumstances are completely chaotic? It is the real, valuable fruit I am intensely looking for. You must remain firmly grafted into me, the true vine. You are a branch. A branch cannot produce a single piece of fruit if it disconnects itself from the main, life-giving vine. You have been exhausting yourself trying to manufacture your own joy, your own patience, and your own peace through sheer human willpower. It does not work. Willpower is a very fragile muscle that exhausts easily under heavy pressure. I invite you to stop trying so incredibly hard and simply start abiding. When you stay deeply connected to my presence through daily prayer, quiet moments, and trusting my word, my divine life flows directly into you. The beautiful, rich fruit of love, joy, and peace will grow organically in your life without you having to force it or fake it. I am currently pruning you, and I know exactly how much it hurts. You feel like you are rapidly losing things. You are losing certain relationships, certain comfortable habits, and certain opportunities you thought were good for you. You think I am punishing you or stripping you bare because I am angry with your mistakes. I command you to aggressively reject that lie. A master gardener only prunes the branches that he fiercely loves, the branches that have the absolute greatest potential to bear a massive harvest. I am carefully cutting away the dead, useless weight in your life. I am removing the toxic habits, the shallow relationships, and the unnecessary distractions that are violently draining your vital energy. Trust the painful snip of my pruning shears. I am preparing you to produce a heavier, sweeter harvest than you have ever seen before. I invite you to embrace the extreme patience required for a real harvest to properly grow. You live in a rushed culture that demands instant, overnight results. My kingdom operates on the slow, deliberate, ancient rhythm of seasons. You plant a tiny seed in the dark dirt, and for a very long time, it looks like absolutely nothing is happening. But underneath the soil, deep, strong roots are actively forming. I command you to not give up during the hidden, boring season of root building. Do not nervously dig up your seed to see if it is growing. Trust my slow, perfect process. The beautiful fruit that is forming in your character will not only bless you, it will become a source of deep, life-saving nourishment for everyone around you. People will look at your life, see the unmistakable, undeniable evidence of my Spirit, and be drawn to the light that you continuously carry. Flourish right where you are planted today. I see you hesitating. You are standing right on the edge of a massive change, but you keep looking backward. You are waiting for a more convenient time to fully commit to me. You tell yourself that you will surrender your stress, your bad habits, and your deep fears tomorrow, or next week, or when life finally calms down. I command you to stop waiting for a perfect tomorrow that will absolutely never come. The perfect time is not in the future. The perfect time is right now. Today is the exact day of your profound breakthrough. I am placing an intense, urgent message directly into your heart this very second. Do not ignore the heavy, persistent knock you feel against the door of your tired soul. I am standing on the other side of that door, and I am actively asking you to let me inside. Answer the knock right now. You have locked that door to protect yourself from getting hurt again. You have barricaded yourself behind thick walls of human logic, extreme busyness, and deep skepticism. I invite you to turn the handle. Open the door and let the bright, warm light of my presence flood your dark, quiet rooms. When you hear my voice today, I command you not to harden your heart. A hardened heart is a dangerous, heavy stone that sinks straight to the bottom of the ocean. It cannot feel love, it cannot receive grace, and it cannot experience true joy. Do not let your past pain turn your soft heart into solid rock. Allow my gentle hands to massage the bitter anger out of your chest. Let me completely restore your ability to feel hope again. You are standing at the crucial intersection of my limitless grace and your personal decision. I have already provided absolutely everything you need to be free. I have fully paid the massive debt you owed. I have completely cleared the impossible obstacles from your path. But I will never force you to walk down that path against your will. I gave you the powerful, heavy gift of human choice. I command you to make the right choice today. Choose life. Choose peace. Surrender your desperate need to control every tiny detail of your chaotic existence. The incredible shift that happens when you finally surrender is breathtaking. The heavy, suffocating pressure instantly leaves your chest. The deep mental fog violently clears. You stop fighting against the fierce current and finally let my powerful river carry you to complete safety. Do not let this specific moment pass you by. The world will immediately try to distract you the second you finish reading these words. The phone will loudly ring. The children will demand help. The urgent emails will pull at your attention. I command you to fiercely hold on to this profound stillness. Anchor your racing mind to the solid truth you are feeling right now. Make a firm, unshakable decision today that you will stop running away from the only one who can actually save you. Step entirely into the massive, unconditional love I have prepared exclusively for you. The breakthrough you have been crying for is completely within your grasp. Reach out your empty hands and take it. Let today be the definitive turning point of your entire life. I see your deep hesitation when you try to pray. You approach me cautiously, like a frightened employee walking into the office of a very harsh manager. You quickly list your requests, apologize for bothering me, and then rush back to your stressful day. You feel entirely unworthy to ask me for big things because of the mistakes you made yesterday. I command you to completely change your posture right now. You are not a terrified employee. You are my deeply cherished child. I invite you to approach my massive throne of grace with absolute, unflinching boldness. Walk into my presence with your head held high, completely confident that you belong exactly where you are. You do not need to use big, complicated religious words to impress me. I do not care about your vocabulary. I care deeply about your raw, bleeding heart. Speak to me with total, unfiltered honesty. Tell me exactly how incredibly tired you are of fighting the exact same battles every single week. Tell me about the deep, physical ache in your chest when you look at your shrinking bank account or your struggling marriage. I hear every single heavy sigh that escapes your lips. I catch every silent, hot tear that falls onto your pillow in the middle of the night. Do not believe the toxic lie that your specific problems are too small for my divine attention. If it concerns you, it concerns me deeply. The profound intimacy of simply speaking directly with your Creator is the most powerful tool you possess. I am your Father, your closest confidant, and your ultimate defender. Talk to me while you drive your car or while you wash the dishes, and while you sit in the quiet darkness of your bedroom. I command you to use the dynamic, explosive power of intercession for the people around you. You see your friends and family hurting, and you feel entirely helpless to fix their intense pain. You cannot fix them, but you can bring them directly to me. When you pray fiercely for your loved ones, You are actively moving the massive hand of heaven on their exact behalf. You are tearing down dark strongholds in their minds and building solid protective walls around their lives. Pray with the dangerous, relentless expectation that I am actually going to answer you. Do not pray a weak, defeated prayer and then walk away assuming absolutely nothing will happen. Wait for my answer with the intense, focused expectation of a watchman waiting for the morning sun to finally rise. I invite you to move the massive, terrifying mountains in your life through the tiny mustard seed of your daily faith. You look at the massive mountain of your financial debt, the mountain of your physical illness, or the mountain of your family conflict, and you feel completely crushed by its sheer size. I command you to stop talking to me about how incredibly big your mountain is. Start talking directly to your mountain about how incredibly big your God is. Command the dark mountain of anxiety to throw itself into the sea. Command the heavy mountain of financial lack to crumble into dust. You possess my divine authority. Open your mouth and declare my unshakable promises over your specific struggles. Your confident, bold prayers are actively rewriting your future. Never stop praying, and never stop expecting me to do the absolutely impossible in your life. I see you walking through your day with your head bowed and your shoulders heavily slumped. You walk like a defeated prisoner of war, constantly battered by the harsh, unpredictable circumstances of your life. You let a difficult boss, a rude stranger, or a sudden financial crisis entirely dictate your mood and steal your peace. I command you to stop living like a helpless victim. I did not create you to be a punching bag for the enemy or a doormat for this loud world. I invite you to immediately step into the fierce, unshakable identity I have specifically given you. You are a direct co-heir with my Son. All the resources, all the power, and all the massive authority of heaven are completely available to you right now. Take back the precious ground the enemy has brutally stolen from you. The enemy has stolen your quiet peace of mind, your physical health, and the harmony in your household. He walked into your life and took exactly what belongs to me, and you simply let him do it because you entirely forgot who you are. I command you to stand up and reclaim your rightful territory. Open your mouth and use the ultimate, explosive power of my name. The name of Jesus is not a casual word. It is the ultimate weapon of massive destruction against the unseen forces of darkness. When you speak my name with absolute, unwavering faith, demons tremble and run in sheer terror. Use my name to aggressively command the daily chaos in your home to completely cease. I command you to violently rebuke the heavy, suffocating spirit of despair that has tried to wrap itself around your neck. You wake up feeling a dark, heavy cloud hovering entirely over your bed, telling you that today will be just as miserable as yesterday. Do not accept that heavy cloud as your reality. Speak directly to it. Command the dark spirit of heaviness to leave your mind immediately. I have given you the heavy, iron keys to the kingdom of heaven. You possess the absolute authority to bind and to loose. I invite you to actively bind the toxic spirits of anxiety, depression, and severe lack that are terrorizing your family. I invite you to confidently lose the powerful spirits of profound peace, joy, and overwhelming provision directly into your atmosphere. Walk into your workplace, your neighborhood, and your family gatherings with the undeniable, fierce confidence of a kingdom citizen. You carry the heavy, brilliant presence of the Almighty God directly inside of your physical body. When you walk into a dark, depressing room, the darkness must instantly flee because the light you carry is absolutely blinding. Stop apologizing for your faith. Stop shrinking back just to make insecure people comfortable. I command you to take up the exact space I have given you. Hold your head up incredibly high. You are divine royalty. You are completely backed by the Lord of Heaven's armies. Face every single obstacle today with the bold, aggressive certainty that you have already won the war. You are untouchable, you are deeply powerful, and you are destined for absolute greatness. I see the frantic, exhausting pace of your daily life. You are constantly running, completely out of breath, trying to aggressively manage a million different responsibilities. You believe the toxic, modern lie that your actual human worth is entirely defined by your constant, unbroken productivity. You feel incredibly guilty when you sit down on the couch for just 5 minutes. Your mind immediately starts racing, creating massive mental lists of chores you should be doing instead of resting. I commend you to entirely reject this exhausting, relentless taskmaster. I did not design the human body or the human soul to run at maximum speed without ever stopping. I invite you to rediscover the profound, life-saving peace of the Sabbath rest today. Find absolute, deep rest for your weary soul directly in my quiet presence. I command you to completely cease from your own desperate labors. You are fiercely trying to build your career, secure your finances, and protect your family using only your own fragile, entirely limited energy. It is time to put down your heavy tools. Trust that my massive, capable hands are actively working on your exact behalf while you choose to rest. The world will not completely fall apart if you take a day to simply breathe deeply. I sustain the entire universe. I can certainly manage your specific problems while you sleep. The intense, gripping fear that everything will collapse if you stop working is a brutal lie from the enemy meant to keep you permanently enslaved. I invite you to honor the deep sanctity of simply being entirely still before your God. Turn off the glowing screens that constantly demand your immediate attention. Silence the loud, buzzing notifications that spike your anxiety every 5 minutes. Walk entirely away from the endless, noisy cycle of breaking news and cultural panic. Create a quiet, sacred, peaceful space in your home where you can sit and simply exist with me. You do not need to talk constantly. You do not need to produce anything valuable. Just sit heavily in the warm, protective blanket of my perfect peace. Let the profound silence completely refresh your exhausted spirit through deep, divine contemplation. Remember exactly who I am, and remember exactly who you are in me. You must aggressively establish a regular, unbreakable rhythm of rest to actually sustain your life. An engine that never powers down will eventually burn up and destroy itself completely. You are incredibly close to a massive burnup because you flatly refuse to rest. I command you to stop glorifying your extreme busyness. Busyness is absolutely not a badge of honor. It is a clear, blinking warning sign of a deeply distracted soul. Step out of the frantic, noisy rushing of the crowd. Let my deep, steady peace wash over your tired muscles and your racing mind. I give my beloved beautiful sleep, and I restore their souls in the quiet, hidden moments. Trust entirely that the world will keep spinning, your job will survive, and your complicated problems will be expertly managed by my power while you rest securely in my arms. Let go of the tight control right now, and finally breathe. As you sink deeply into my perfect, unshakable Sabbath peace, do not turn away from the heavy, glorious privilege of sharing this exact rest with others. I deeply desire to use your open hands to build a quiet, protective sanctuary of truth for exhausted, frantic souls across the entire globe. Your act of giving is the soothing, holy oil poured directly over the bleeding, painful wounds of a tired, broken generation. By funding this vital mission, you are actively guiding terrified people out of their loud panic and directly into my profound, life-saving stillness. Hear my living truth spoken exactly for you. Whoever radically refreshes others will absolutely be profoundly refreshed themselves. I will completely remove the heavy stress from your daily finances, surround your family with impenetrable peace, and miraculously multiply your daily resources. Do not hesitate, for there are millions desperately suffocating today who urgently need to hear this calming, restorative voice. Release your generous gift right this exact second using Super Thanks, the membership button, or the clear PayPal link provided in the description. Precious one, do not drift away just as you finally find your rest. The final, crucial pieces of your divine destiny are about to be fully revealed. It deeply breaks a father's heart when his child walks away right before the absolute greatest gift is placed into their open hands. I have held your attention this far because your eternal future depends on these final words. Do not ignore my leading now. Stay completely awake. The ultimate, breathtaking promise is arriving right now. I see you searching constantly for the true meaning of your life. You want to feel important, and you want your days on this earth to truly matter. You spend so much of your precious energy trying to build your own kingdom, protect your own reputation, and secure your own extreme comfort. I command you to look at the exact way you are living. The world tells you that greatness comes from having people serve you. The world says you must climb over others to reach the absolute top. I am telling you the absolute opposite truth today. You will only find your greatest, most fulfilling life by willingly losing it for my sake. I invite you to step down from the exhausting pedestal of your own human pride. Take a deep look at the incredibly broken, hurting people who live right next to you. You walk past them every single day on your way to work. You see the deep sadness in the eyes of your coworker, but you turn away because you are entirely too busy. I command you to stop turning away. I invite you to wash the dirty, tired feet of the broken and the lost. I am not asking you to perform a massive, global crusade. I am simply asking you to be my actual hands and my actual feet in your own dark neighborhood. Bring a warm meal to the neighbor who just lost their job. Speak a kind, encouraging word to the exhausted cashier at the grocery store. Give your precious time to someone who can never, ever repay you. You must understand that true, deep humility always precedes genuine exaltation. When you lower yourself to serve the overlooked people of this world, I immediately take notice. I see every single quiet act of kindness you perform in secret. I promise you that I will openly reward what you do in the hidden places. Do not serve others to get a round of loud applause from the crowd. Serve them strictly because you fiercely love me, and because you fiercely love what I have created. I command you to completely strip away the toxic ego that constantly demands to be recognized and praised. Find the absolute, purest joy in selfless acts of kingdom love today. You think that buying more things or achieving more success will finally make you happy. You know deep down that it never actually works. The profound, unshakable joy you are desperately looking for is exclusively found in giving your life away. When you help heal someone else's deep wound, I actively heal your own hidden wounds. When you pour your limited energy out for the sake of another person, I instantly refill your soul with my massive, divine energy. I invite you to become a crystal clear mirror that perfectly reflects my character to a desperate, starving world. Let people look directly at your daily life and see my undeniable love shining right through your actions. Walk into your day today completely ready to serve, ready to love, and ready to absolutely change the atmosphere around you. You are my chosen ambassador. I see the terrifying battles staring you right in the face today. You look at the massive medical report, the finalized divorce papers, or the completely empty bank account, and you feel like the war is already over. You feel a deep, suffocating sense of complete defeat settling into your heavy bones. I command you to lift your head up right this very second. Do not believe the loud, aggressive lies of the enemy. The enemy wants you to think that your current, painful circumstances are the final chapter of your story. I invite you to look closely at the empty tomb. The empty tomb is the absolute, final word on your eternal destiny. Death could not hold me, the grave could not keep me, and your current problems absolutely cannot defeat you. You must fiercely remember that absolutely no weapon formed against you shall ever prosper. People may actively plot against you at your job. Sickness may violently attack your physical body. Financial ruin may knock loudly on your front door. I do not promise that weapons will never be formed, but I absolutely guarantee that they will never, ever succeed in destroying your soul. I command you to stand completely firm on this ironclad promise. I am actively defending you in rooms you have not even entered yet. I am silencing the harsh, lying tongues of your accusers. You do not need to fight desperately to protect your own fragile reputation. I am your fierce protector, and I will thoroughly vindicate you in front of your absolute worst enemies. Overcome this dark, chaotic world completely through your unshakable faith in me. The world will continuously try to crush your spirit and steal your joy. I invite you to listen very closely in the spiritual realm right now. Do you hear it? You can hear the massive, terrifying roar of the Lion of Judah echoing directly over your life. I am roaring over your specific family. I am roaring over your exact finances. I am roaring over your fragile mental health. When I roar, every single demon in hell must immediately cover their ears and run away in absolute sheer terror. You belong to me, and nobody touches what is officially mine. I command you to start aggressively celebrating your massive win long before the actual battle is over. You do not need to wait until the physical problem is completely solved to start giving me loud praise. Start praising me right there in the dark, messy middle of your terrifying storm. Your loud praise is the exact weapon that violently breaks the chains holding you back. You are officially standing on the winning side of the triumphant king. We are not fighting for a potential victory. We are actively enforcing a victory that I already won on the bloody cross. Walk entirely into your day with the massive, undeniable swagger of a completely victorious warrior. You cannot lose because I absolutely cannot fail. Accept this massive victory today. Do not wait for a perfect feeling of peace to finally believe what I am saying. Your feelings are fragile and change like the shifting wind. My truth stands completely solid like a massive mountain of pure granite. I invite you to anchor your entire mind to this undeniable reality. I am completely victorious, and because you belong entirely to me, you share completely in my massive, unshakable victory. Step out your front door today completely knowing that the fiercest battle has already been permanently won. I see how deeply entangled you are in the temporary, fading things of this physical earth. You spend all your precious energy obsessing over your retirement account, the exact size of your house, and the daily drama of your local news. You let these tiny, fleeting things completely ruin your peace of mind and dictate your happiness. I command you to immediately lift your eyes higher. I invite you to aggressively set your mind on things directly above, not on the fragile things of this temporary earth. You are living as if this broken, painful world is your absolute final destination. It is not. You are simply a traveler passing quickly through a strange, foreign land. You must deeply understand the incredibly temporary nature of your current, heavy trials. I know exactly how much your current pain hurts. I know the deep, suffocating grief of losing someone you fiercely love. I know the sharp, agonizing sting of a chronic illness that refuses to go away. But I am telling you the absolute truth today. This specific pain is only temporary. It feels like it will last entirely forever, but compared to the massive span of eternity, it is shorter than a single blink of an eye. I command you to completely shift your perspective right now. Do not let a temporary, earthly problem destroy your eternal, unshakable hope. I am personally preparing a massive, glorious mansion exclusively for you in my house. You worry so much about having a safe, comfortable place to live on this earth. I have already secured your permanent, beautiful home in the heavens. I invite you to start living with a fierce, eternal perspective in this incredibly fleeting world. When you actively realize that your actual home is in heaven, the terrible problems of this world suddenly lose their terrifying grip on your throat. The loss of a job does not completely destroy you, because your real treasure is securely locked in heaven. The harsh rejection of a human being does not crush your soul, because you are totally accepted by the Creator of the universe. Look forward to the absolutely stunning hope of the massive glory that is yet to be fully revealed to you. You cannot even begin to imagine the brilliant colors, the perfect peace, and the overwhelming joy I have specifically prepared for you. I command you to hold tightly onto this powerful hope when your earthly days turn incredibly dark and cold. There is an ultimate, beautiful reunion absolutely waiting for all my faithful children. You will see the loved ones you had to bury. You will experience a perfect world where sickness, crying, and painful death are entirely wiped out forever. I invite you to let this massive, guaranteed promise fuel your tired legs today. Keep walking forward. Keep fighting the good fight. Your eternal, breathtaking reward is waiting securely on the other side of this temporary, painful struggle. Live for the eternal, not for the temporary. I command you to completely stop investing your heart into things that moths will eat and rust will destroy. Invest your precious energy into the invisible, eternal souls of the broken people around you. Invest in your daily relationship with me. These are the absolute only things you will ever carry with you into the next life. I invite you to rest your tired head tonight completely knowing that your permanent, glorious future is incredibly safe, undeniably secure, and fiercely protected by my massive, sovereign hand. I am giving you my exact, final instructions for the difficult road that lies directly ahead of you. You are going to face fierce new challenges, unexpected storms, and massive decisions in the coming days. I command you to pay very close attention to my voice right now. You must actively keep my written word hidden deep within your fragile heart. Do not just read it quickly once a week and then completely forget what it says. I invite you to deeply memorize my promises. Write them heavily on the doorposts of your house. Speak them out loud when you drive to work. When the heavy darkness tries to invade your mind, my word will act as a bright, burning flashlight to guide you out. I command you to fiercely love one another exactly as I have loved you. This is not a casual suggestion. This is my ultimate, unbreakable command. The world is incredibly cold, terribly selfish, and brutally unforgiving. You must be completely different. I invite you to love the people who irritate you the most. Forgive the family members who have deeply wronged you. Serve the strangers who can offer you absolutely nothing in return. When you love with my radical, unconditional love, you actively prove to the world that you belong entirely to me. Love is the absolute greatest weapon you possess against the dark forces of hatred and division. Be incredibly bold, be fiercely courageous, and do not be absolutely afraid of anything. The enemy wants you to cower in the corner, paralyzed by the intense fear of failure and rejection. I command you to stand up entirely straight. You carry the massive power of the Almighty God directly inside your chest. I invite you to aggressively trust me with the heavy things you simply cannot see. You want to see the entire staircase before you take the very first step. I am asking you to completely trust my guiding hand in the absolute pitch black. Trust that I am actively working on your behalf even when your physical eyes see absolutely zero evidence of it. You must watch closely and pray without ceasing, for the specific time is drawing incredibly near. Do not fall deeply asleep while the rest of the world slumbers in total ignorance. I command you to stay spiritually awake, intensely alert, and totally ready for my sudden move. Go forth entirely in the explosive, undeniable power of my Holy Spirit today. Do not try to accomplish these massive tasks using your own pathetic, limited human strength. You will fail, and you will burn out immediately. I invite you to continuously ask my Spirit to fill you up completely fresh every single morning. Let my divine power flow directly through your hands, your words, and your daily actions. You are fully equipped, completely authorized, and fiercely loved. I command you to stop making weak excuses about your past mistakes or your lack of formal training. I do not call the completely qualified, I totally qualify the called. Step out and change your world today. Take these firm instructions and plant them deeply in your mind. Let them guide your every single move from this exact moment forward. I am trusting you with this heavy, glorious assignment, and I know exactly what you are capable of achieving when you walk closely with me. I am giving you my absolute, eternal promise today, and I want you to hold on to it with a fierce, unbreakable grip. I see the deep, lingering fear of abandonment hiding in the dark corners of your heart. People have walked out on you, entirely broken their promises, and left you sitting completely alone in the cold. I command you to hear my voice over the painful echoes of your past rejections. I am with you always, even to the absolute, very end of the age. I do not pack my bags and leave when your life becomes incredibly messy or complicated. I invite you to deeply understand that my presence is a permanent, fixed reality in your daily life. My massive, unconditional love is the heavy, solid anchor that will absolutely never fail you. When the terrifying hurricanes of sudden loss, financial ruin, and physical sickness violently crash against your fragile boat, you will not drift away. The anchor is secure. The rope will not break. I command you to completely stop worrying about losing my affection. You are officially mine. You have always been mine, and I will absolutely never, ever let you go. No demon in hell, no human mistake, and no tragic disaster can ever pry you out of my strong, capable hands. You are entirely safe right here in my grip. I invite you to completely receive the massive, overwhelming blessing I have specifically poured out on you today. Do not deflect it. Do not tell me that you are entirely too broken or unworthy to receive such a huge gift. Open your tight, clenched fists and accept the profound favor I am dropping directly into your life right now. I am officially giving you a deep, settling peace that this frantic, chaotic world absolutely cannot take away from you. The world did not give you this massive peace, and the world absolutely does not have the power to remove it. It is a permanent, divine deposit resting directly inside your soul. I command you to confidently enter into the absolute, overwhelming joy of your Lord today, my faithful, precious child. You have cried entirely enough tears. You have carried the massive, crushing weight of the world for far too long. I invite you to finally drop the heavy baggage at my feet right this exact second. Take a massive, deep breath of pure freedom. Walk entirely out of the dark, suffocating prison of your daily anxiety and step directly into the bright, warm sunlight of my guaranteed victory. Your incredibly beautiful future is entirely secured by my own blood. I love you with an everlasting, fierce, and undeniable passion. Go forward today completely wrapped in my unshakable power, and never, ever forget exactly whose child you truly are. You are profoundly loved, completely protected, and eternally victorious. I command you to carry this massive truth into your workplace, into your living room, and into your darkest nights. When the loud lies of the enemy try to creep back into your tired mind, I invite you to fiercely remember this exact conversation. Speak my eternal promises out loud until the dark shadows entirely vanish. We are walking this difficult road completely together, hand in strong hand, until the very end of time. Step into your brilliant, joyful destiny right now. My beloved child, because I will absolutely never leave you and my massive victory is completely yours, do not turn away from this ultimate, eternal mission. I am directly and urgently calling you to violently pull others out of the terrifying darkness and into my massive, unconditional love. The earthly treasure you faithfully sow today instantly becomes a blazing beacon of eternal light, guiding completely lost ships safely into my heavenly harbor. Your active, bold generosity is the exact vehicle that carries my saving gospel to the broken, entirely changing their eternal destiny forever. I speak this powerful, unbreakable promise directly over your life. Store up your massive treasures in heaven, where absolutely no thief can break in and no moth can ever destroy. I will fiercely command profound favor over your entire life, deeply bless the physical work of your hands, and radically multiply everything you own. Time is incredibly short, and your immediate financial partnership is a massive, divine appointment to alter eternity right now. Secure your powerful impact immediately by sending a super thanks, joining as a faithful member, or clicking the PayPal link directly in the description. My beloved child, do not let this sacred moment slip through your weary fingers, for I have something magnificent waiting for you on the exact other side of your surrender. I invite you to boldly claim this profound breakthrough right now by declaring in the comments, "Father, I will not turn away. I receive your massive blessing today." The very second you type those powerful words, you are violently shattering the heavy chains of doubt and driving a permanent, unshakable stake of faith into the ground. Do not turn away from this life-altering encounter. Instead, share this vital message to rescue another exhausted soul from the darkness. Stand entirely firm in my presence. Accept the miraculous gift I have placed in your hands, and watch me completely transform your reality. Amen.